December 12th. And I love saying this now. We are in championship mode. It is December, and you are now here on a important football Friday that you're getting ready for the playoffs now. Every single one of your football teams now, we're coming down the stretch here. Folks, this is where it matters the most, and how you're playing football. I mean, this is where you need to start putting championship football and championship football quarters together for you to be able to consider yourself whether or not you're going to be a true contender or not. This is the time of the year where you're either going to be really a pre-guy, a pretender, or a contender here. So this is it, man. Hey, and by the way, you're not in any position whatsoever to sit here and tell me that you think you can beat anybody on any given Sunday. Because right now you got to play 60 minutes of football, and you haven't played 60 minutes of football all year long except for one game, and that was that New York Giants game. That's it. That is the only time this year that you have played 60 minutes of football was Giants game number 2. You haven't put together 4 quarters of football at any point this year. Okay, you haven't. So don't sit there and tell me you're going to play 4 quarters of football against the Raiders, who are one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the league. You know, they're battling it out right now between the Titans and I would also say the Giants and the Saints as the worst teams in the league that you're going to play on Sunday. I'm sick and tired of throwing this line out too. No excuses. Fuck, get that offense going, man. Get that offense going. So this season's been over. No, it'll be over after the wild card game. You're not going past the wild card. Big Sales bold prediction. You ain't getting past the wild card. I told you you'd win 11 ball games. You're trending there to win 11 ball games. How you doing? Hey, what did we say? Say it again. Big Sales, what was the record you picked at the beginning of the year? 11-6? Let's see. You're at 8-5 now? 4 left? 9, 10, 11, 12. Ooh. Still a shot for Big Sales to be right on bold prediction. Yes, still a shot. I said you go 11-6. How you doing? But you probably think you're going to win out. You ain't winning in Buffalo. I told you we're not going to go and win these 14, 15 ball games that you thought, race. Not happening. Now listen, let me ask you this. For shits and giggles here, if they lose this football game on Sunday, would this be worse than the 2023 nuclear implosion that you had? You mean, wait a minute, no. That was Trash Arm Hurts last week, throwing 4 picks. Would this be worse than the nuclear meltdown in 23? Would be, huh? Whoa. Nick Sirianni almost lost his job then. If you lose that Raider game, can we now say this officially? If you lose this Raider game, it's an implosion. I saw an implosion last night. The Bucs are imploding. They've lost 6 of their last 8 games. Carolina's now in the seat to win the NFC South, like I predicted. I think they're going to win the South. There's 3 games remaining for the Bucs. 2 Carolina, 1 Dolphin. They're not winning any one of those games. Todd Bowles is going to lose his job after that performance last night. You had a football team that gave up 19 penalties and 125 yards in the Falcons. And the Bucs still weren't able to win. Todd Bowles is going to lose his job. Hey, Big Sills, they couldn't make it past the first round as long as they do not match up with anybody from the NFC West. Yes, including San Francisco. Well, you're going to get one team out of the South. You're going to get one team out of the NFC East. The rest of them are going to come from the North and the West. So you're going to get either 3 out of the West, 2 out of the North, and then the remaining 2 will come out of the division winners in the East and South. Yeah, the 2 best divisions in football are the NFC West and the NFC North. Okay? I mean, here we are, folks. Once again, at a crossroads with the Philadelphia Eagles. Either they're going to turn this thing up. Hey, and guess what? You see lunatics like this? If Hurts goes for 286 and 3 touchdowns and rushes for 50 yards and they beat him 28-6, you know what he's going to say? They're back against the worst team in football. And he wants you to give him a pat on the back for guess what? Doing their fucking job and beating a shitty team. It's fool's gold. You'll slip on the banana peel again. You'll fall into that bullshit line. You'll go into the pyrite fake gold and you'll buy into it. Because you know why? You're an idiot like this guy. I mean, right? Because he's an idiot. He was talking about the Bucs. Yes, Buccaneers are in a nuclear meltdown now. Make no mistake about it. By the way, love our Fridays. The legendary, one of the greatest sports talk hosts in the history of sports talk radio. Mike North will join us. That'll be at 4:30. The legendary Philly Godfather. And by the way, folks, as the NFL season comes to an end, we are going to see some great football games this weekend. Let me pull up the schedule for you for this weekend. These games this weekend for week 15, check this out. Baltimore, Cincinnati. I know you may go look at that and go, Sills, really? That's Burrow and Lamar. Then you've got really a game that is probably going to be considered a playoff game. Chargers and Chiefs. Holy cow. You got Buffalo and New England this week. You've got Green Bay at Denver. You've got Detroit at Los Angeles. You've got Indianapolis at Seattle. And for the NFC East, you have Minnesota at Dallas. You have got an absolutely insane weekend of football. And that's why the legendary Philly Godfather will be with us. That will be at 5:30. You know, I was going over my social media, my X account. I got people still throwing that stupid-ass shit that Jalen Hurts has been to 2 Super Bowls. And I had actually a guy say, Peyton Manning went to 2 Super Bowls. And I'm like, guy, are you really comparing Jalen Hurts, that noodle-armed quarterback, to Peyton Manning? Are you fucking dumb? How dumb are some people? And Xander said something funny. It's Friday. The Jalenites have to be out. And it's Raider week. So they have to be out. You got to feel pretty good about yourself heading into this shit dog game. Let me tell you something. You don't take care of business against this football team, you ain't going anywhere. You ain't going anywhere. So let's start it, and let me give you, by the way, give me some of your takes. We always do this on a Friday. All right? Give me your scores. Give me your scores. I got a score here lined up here. Let's see if one of you guys land on my score. What do you got this weekend against the Las Vegas Raiders? Look, there's some playmakers on that team. Obviously, Max Crosby. You got Bowers on that team, too, who's a spectacular player. Look at this. 13-9. 13-10. I mean, right? 20-17. Raiders, 25-17. 28-17. 24-16. 23-10. 24-13. 14-10 Raiders. Wow. 42-14. They haven't scored but 30 points once this year. Offensively. They haven't scored 30 points but once this year. Sil's taking receipts now. How you doing? Where's receipts? All right. Just no faith in the offense. That's how I see this game playing out. It's going to be windy. And it's going to be, I think, a run-dominant team. The Raiders have one of the absolute worst offensive lines in all of pro football. There is no way they should be able to take the football and run it down your throat. There is just absolutely no way. However, how many people think you have a Super Bowl defense like the owner says? I'm going to combine two topics here. You don't have a Super Bowl defense. Based off what? You don't have a Super Bowl defense. Based on what metric? I mean, based on what? The owner's ridiculous. Super Bowl defensive football team? Okay? And Reyes, you don't believe the Eagles have a Super Bowl defense, do you? Based off the fact that we're winning it again this year? Here, folks, this guy thinks this is a Super Bowl defense. 281 yards were jammed down your face by the Chicago Bears. So he believes that you have a Super Bowl defense based on this. Let's take a look at that. So heading into week 15, the Eagles defense right now is 21st. That's a Super Bowl defense versus the pass with quality quarterbacks. You're 15th. Owner's fucking drunk. Rush defense. The Eagles are 26th. You're 26th against the run. Now I'm going to match something up here. I want to show you something on why this game's going to be close. Let's see here. Third down. Okay? The Eagles are 24th in third down. You've actually improved that number from being 28th. So let's take a look at the Raiders' offense heading into this game. Since I hope people realize that Sirianni's Mike McCormick. Wow, you're really reaching back. So here, let's go back and let's match who these guys are up, right? Let's match them up here, okay? So let's go here. Raider offense. Let's see what the Raiders are ranked offensively, which is poor, by the way. Raiders offense. What do they rank total? Let's see here. Total. The Raiders are 31st. Okay? Raiders are 31st. You're 21st. Not that far off. Passing. The Raiders are 26th. You're 15th. Okay? Rushing offense. The Raiders are 32nd. Well, shit, you're 26th. That's not much of a difference. So the Raiders have the 32nd ranked rushing attack, and you're 26th against the run. That's a wash to me. They're going to run the ball on you. They're going to run the ball on you. I don't know to what extent, but you're not a Super Bowl defense. Based on what? What your owner fucking says? And then, Rice, you're not winning games. You've lost 3 in a row. What are you talking about? I mean, the Raider offense, you know what's funny? I heard Xander and John talking. You know what they say? He was saying, this offense is atrocious. Well, fuck, dude. You're the 22nd ranked defense in the league. I mean, you're 11 off being the worst. You're making it sound like you're great on defense. You're 26th against the run. I mean, they're 32nd in running offense. They're right there with you. You can't stop the run, and they can't run. That's what makes the game close. Didn't you glaze the defense the last 3 weeks about how they kept us in the game? Absolutely. Your defense has kept you in the game. That doesn't – wait a second, folks. This guy goes from one extreme to the other. Just because I said your defense has kept you in a game doesn't mean you have a fucking Super Bowl defense. Super Bowl defenses are in Cleveland and in Houston. Those are Super Bowl defenses. Holy shit. Sills uses LA. Yeah, that's what I do. I got a whole cabinet filled of men's care. Yeah, that's what I look like. I wear the same shirt every day. What are you talking about? Not true, but. And by the way, it's free. I'll tell you that. Brady says he could take us to another title. Tom Brady at 48 is better than Jalen Hurts as a passer. How many people oh, wait. So after, with the greatness of Phillip Rivers coming back, how many people would think that Tom Brady at 48 is better than Hurts as a passer? Yes or no? I think he is. I think Tom Brady can move the sticks. How many people believe that? Let my boy Maniac get a load of this numbnuts. M. Reyes. SP potential defense. Hurts can't keep us on the field. Sills, 13 weeks into this bitch, and these bums still think we're contenders. Bro, we rank bottom 20 in every metric. Amateur hour, corporate B pump. Brady's a better quarterback right now sitting in the booth than Hurts is sitting in a huddle. He's almost 50 years old. He's almost 50 years old. James Jones, he's out of pocket, going to Vic. The nerve of the motherfucker. That was a second-team All-Pro bench warmer. Who's this? Let's see. Sills Amateur Hour, say it. Oh, my God. Amateur Hour. So Tom Brady can still put up 300 yards and 4 tutties and an inning and no interceptions. Facts. Phillip Rivers is older than Sean McVay. Yeah, that's fucking a great pull. Phillip Rivers is older than the coach with the Rams. Brady, a better quarterback on the toilet. Yeah. Let's see here. He's also better than 90% of the quarterbacks in the league. Very true. Very true. You're always kissing Tom Brady's cheating rings. Yeah, there's 7 of them. And then you bow after you say Tom Brady's name. Yes. And you bow with the 35 cheating. Here's another numbnuts that believes that a guy, get this, this is what he believes. Taking 1% of a air out of a football was the reason they won a Super Bowl. Yeah. Deflated footballs is the reason Brady won? Oh, my God. Deflated footballs. Really? Is that what he went on? By the way, after they got fined and all that, he went on to win 3 more. So, after Deflategate, they went on to win 3 more. So, Brady, what did it matter? Cheating. Brady cheated by taking a pound of air out of a football, and that's what made that motherfucker win 7 Super Bowls. Yeah. Wow. You're onto something here, Roy. Psst, 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 psst. 7 Super Bowls. Maybe Jalen Hurts to deflate the football completely so he could throw it better. Psst, 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 psst. This is what Philip Rivers showed me. Do you know what people were talking about on Tom Brady when it came to taking air out of the football? Philip Rivers, I'm at the complex over at the old San Diego Charger complex, and Philip Rivers was going like this. Psst, 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 psst. They said that's what won him 6 Super Bowls. That's how stupid people are. Psst, 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 psst. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. And Frank Reich was doing the same shit. He's like, that's so dumb. But because the media hated Belichick and the New England Patriots dynasty because they were Trump honks, ESPN came up with the bullshit narrative. I mean, he cheated. And by the way, the sideline shit, that stuff's taped anyway. All you got to do is go to your local TV guy who has like the footage of filming the game. You see that shit anywhere on like Fox 29 has that shit. How dumb are you people? Not all of you. Some of you know that had nothing to do with anything. But because, you want to diminish somebody's legacy because most of you don't have a legacy, you'll take a shit on anything to pretend and make shit up. So these idiots don't realize that Peyton Manning defended Tom Brady and said they pushed for deflating balls by a certain PSI for better grip in the collective bargaining agreement. Hey, by the way, I saw Philip Rivers take a football out of a bag, the box that the football comes in. What he'll do is this. He'll throw it against the cement, and they were scuffing the footballs up because of that glaze they have on the footballs. I go, what are you doing? He goes, yeah, here, he threw me a brand new football, and it is. So he wanted to they scuffed the football up. Because when you play in football games, you play with your own footballs. You don't play with league footballs. You play with your own. I mean, now the kickers have their own footballs. Hurts could throw a deflated football accurately 20 yards instead of the usual accuracy of 10 yards or less. All right, let me get here. So here's going to be my score. I think this game's going to be pretty close. I do. I think it's a one-score football game. I've got 26-19 Eagles. There's no way you should lose this football game. If you do, I'll never root for you again to win a football game, or I'll never pick you, at least for this year, to win another football game. You can't lose to another shitty football team like you lost to the Giants. And if this game is a one-score football game in the fourth quarter, hey, theoretically, with the talent that you have on the football team, you should beat this Raider team 35-7. But because you're not very good and you don't have a very good quarterback right now, I'm going 26-19. 26-19. That's not by the way, a Super Bowl. Jeffrey Lurie actually said, we have a Super Bowl defense, and you're ranked 26th against the run. I don't know about you, but anytime I've ever heard of a Super Bowl defense that couldn't stop the run, I don't know who that would be. A Super Bowl defense that's ranked 26th against the rush. Hey, Sills, you know what? Okay? How are we getting 26th? You are 26th. You're 26th against the run. I mean, what are you talking about? We double check that. I want to check it again here. Let me see here. Double check. 20. Let's see. Rush defense. Rush defense. Yep. Eagles are 26 against the run. What, you didn't believe that? 26. 27. My Miami math. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. You're the sixth worst run defense in pro football. And Jeffrey Lurie saying you're a Super Bowl defensive team. And you've got the sixth worst rush defense. Sixth worst. Every fucking day I got to hear about the rankings. Rankings tell you who you are, guy. When you're when you're averaging giving up 132 yards a game, that's your identity. That's who you are. And every week it's different. Goes up and down. That's how you know if you're getting better or worse. Metrics. Analytics. You know what Philadelphia doesn't like? When the metrics and the analytics don't favor his football team, he thinks they're horseshit. But this tells you who you are. Every game plan is built off of those numbers. Again, every day, you're fucking right. Because guys like you think you're fucking good. Dude, I could kind of know how we're scoring 26 points on Sunday. How are you scoring them? I'd like to know how you're scoring 26 points. Sills, this team is on life support. Not yet. The Raider game's going to tell me a lot about you. How do you respond to all this noise? Sills, how are we scoring 26 points? Our offense can't score that much. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, believe me. Believe me, I'm giving you the benefit. Against that defense, I think you should score 26 points. 26-19 I got. What you're saying is when stats are wrong, inflated by one game, well, this isn't one game. This is the entire season. And by the way, Shady, if you're capable of giving up 281 yards on the ground, you're capable of giving up 281 yards anytime in the season. If you're capable of losing to the New York Giants, you're capable of losing to anybody. Don't you see that? Or no? Or do you just think that that's an anomaly that, hey, that's not really us? Sills, I'm ashamed of this fan base. They're not, some of them aren't very smart. This is how I know we failed the education system. I wish we had a quarterback that could carry our team. Oh, wait. 16's in the fold. Corporate B pump. Appreciate all of you here with the super chats. Thank you very much. So, Sills, you're saying our deficiency scoring 7 or 14 tonight? Tonight? You mean on Sunday? I think you're going to put up 26 points. Because it's a team like the Giants. And you're going to have fool's gold. And you guys are going to come out Monday and go see we're back. Oh, I already know it. I know how this is going to play out. And then you're going to buy into your fucking team again, and you're going to be telling me how great the quarterback is when he goes for 280 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he turns it around. See, I told you. And I'm like, ugh. And it will give him another month before people will start coming back to me again. Don't worry. It's only a matter of time. Okay? I mean, it's only a matter of time. What's the locker room like? Is the defense giving offense the side eye? No. Because, again, the defense got run over by the Giants 2 weeks ago. Excuse me, the Bears 2 weeks ago. Absolutely not. You have no – hey, get this. That 281 yards that you got jammed down your throat, that doesn't go away. You remember that. You got mauled in that game. And you don't want to let anything like that happen again. That'll stay with you for the remainder of the season. That you got taken to the woodshed. You don't forget shit like that. And actually, it makes you focus. When you get beat up like that by the bully, you don't want to get beat up again. And you got a lot of people in that room that are not going to let that happen. I don't think you're going to see a team run for 250 yards on you again like that. That's embarrassing. I mean, that's everything like Gary Cobb said. You get your manhood challenge and you get all of that shit. Not me. I picked the Raiders for a reason. The morale is cooked. You will see it by halftime. Wow. You think the morale of the you know what? I haven't talked about that. I actually like that. How do you think the morale of the team is right now? Heading into this Raider game? Huh. You know, I don't believe I brought the morale up at all. One topic. Only game I care about is Week 17 versus Buffalo. If they lose that game, my prediction of 11 wins will be right. Guys, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the supers like this one here. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it on a Friday here. Do you think Hurts teammates think Tanner runs the offense better than Jalen? I think the players on the team think he's got more skill than Jalen to run that offense. Yes. But Jalen's the better option because a player will always go with experience. Rodriguez, a player will always take the more experienced guy. Like last night, Kirk Cousins versus Michael Penix. I'll take Cousins all night. Is Penix maybe younger and better at this particular time of Kirk Cousins' career? Probably. But you saw what he did when they protected him. He fucking destroyed him last night. That's a Todd Bowles defense he crushed. 376 and 3 touchdowns. Howard Eskin said it, and I believe him. Do you think that his teammates are losing faith in him? It's just so odd that no teammates are defending him. I think you're in the right place with morale. You know what? I'll put this here with you. I think they're starting to maybe open up their eyes a little more. Maybe that guy ain't the guy. But right now on December 12th, dude, you're on the boat with him. And your boat's taking on water. You can't throw him overboard right now. You got to row to sea with the rest of this. You got to see this through. Bro, you don't surrender right now. That would be surrendering like you did in 23. Do you really want to have – dude, if you start making radical changes like that, you might as well kiss the 2025 year goodbye. Just kiss it goodbye. We can lose to anybody because of our offense. Yeah, because you put your defense in a horrific position. You don't have the same star type of defensive football players that you did a year ago. You don't. Okay? You just don't. Maybe we catch a cold for a game. It's winter. Hey, how about this? The weather will make a factor on Sunday. It's supposed to snow. Sills, what do you think happens if they lose out in the front office? It's a possibility. I think heads will roll. Okay? I think it's a possibility. Heads are going to roll. I don't know who, though. And who they will hold accountable. Kevin Patullo is the easy scapegoat. That's the low-hanging fruit. Remember something. If they fire Kevin Patullo, that was the head football coach or that was the general manager or whomever. They made that hire. That's on them. Well, Kevin Patullo wasn't very good. Well, that's why you passed him over twice. Apparently, we got people saying Jalen had the best 5 turnover game of all time. This is crazy, huh? It's called complacency. Hurts stopped working. Who said that he had the best 5 turnover game of all time? Good grief. That's all I would need to hear. I would totally laugh in your face. The best 5 turnover game. Actually, it's one of the worst played football games in Eagle history at quarterback. Sills, I love the show and will always listen, but when you don't address what I actually said, you're not addressing what I said. Tell me again, Shady. Post it again, brother. See if I can be a little clearer for you. Pickett is familiar with the Eagles Stadium and weather. Yeah, well, hey, I'm not sure that's going to help him. That small hands Pickett. I really hope Jalen Hurts is telling us lies. He said he wasn't losing any more games, and he said he doesn't want to run the ball anymore. Jalen, please go back to running. RG3 really RG3 had great potential until he lost his wheels. Kenny gonna take it easy. He might be here next year. Yeah, no, thank you. I'll go get somebody else. I'll go get Mac Jones if I have to. Okay? I'll go get Mac Jones. Kenny Pickett, everything looks bigger in small hands, right, Sue? Hey, right, Sue? Everything looks bigger in small hands. I don't. No, Jaden Daniels is better. He's better than RG3 because he's a better thrower than RG3 was. Okay? All right. So, these next 4 games. Feels like a Pumper's pick. Oh, my God. Hey, Pump. These next 4 games. Let's say this here. How much has Jalen got on the line here in the next 4 games? How much does he have online? Last year, Pickett was doing good last year with our offense. It's possible he can come here and shock us. Oh, my God. You think that guy could come here and win? Good grief, you lost faith in your football team. You really have. You've lost faith in your football team. That means they're 11-6. Okay? Seals, would you take the GA quarterback Haynes King in the 3rd round? Third or 4th? That sounds about right. 3 or 4? Somewhere in there. I might pass on the 3rd round because I need more help next year. But I don't know. I mean, taking him that high, if I take somebody in the 3rd round, Jalen Hurts' job's on the line. If they draft somebody in round 3, the end of the quarterback is in sight. And my prediction in 2027, he won't be here. Might be, and it might not be that guy they draft, but it's a message they're sending to Nicole Lynn. You draft a quarterback in the 3rd round, that quarterback he's been put on notice. Just like Aaron Rodgers was put on notice, just like Brett Favre was put on notice in Green Bay. Your time is coming to an end. It's just a matter of when. Any good quarterbacks coming out in the next couple drafts? I'll say this again. I think Arch Manning should go back. I don't really see a superstar quarterback in this group of quarterbacks coming into the league. I don't. I think that kid Sellers is probably going to stay. The kid at South Carolina, because he didn't have the best year. He's probably the closest thing to Cam Newton. And from what I hear, he's going to be probably one of the most sought-after players when it comes to, like, people giving him money. He may go to Auburn. He may go to Vanderbilt. He could go to Alabama. He might go to Miami. It just depends. He's going to make a lot of money. Arch Manning's not leaving. He's not. I agree with you. Arch Manning's going to stay at Texas. By the way, I thought he played better towards the end of the year. Started off with that tough loss against Texas, and he finished up with a great win against A&M, beat him by 10. So, I mean, he got better. That could be. I know Kiffin likes him because the kid they got there now that's at Ole Miss kind of looks like that player. The starting quarterback at Ole Miss, he kind of plays like like Sellers does at South Carolina. So for the Eagles, I don't really think I see a quarterback coming into this draft. Nussmeier's not that great. The kid at Penn State's not that great. I don't think the kid at Clemson, he turned out to be a dud too. Carson Beck's not that great. I think the kid at Indiana, I don't know. He's interesting. Like, do I look at, how about this? I don't know, Xander, maybe you too. When I look at Fernando Mendoza, you think he's better than Shedeur Sanders? Like, do you think he's better than Shedeur? I don't think so. I mean, right? Shedeur was a 5th rounder. Why? Because he beat what? Kennesaw State? By the way, I don't think he played that well in the Big Ten title game. I thought he was gutsy. I thought he's had great moments this year. Look, I'm not saying he's not. He's going to play in the NFL. But as a first-round pick, like the first pick in the draft, I don't see that. Like I said, he's going to play. You don't have to be drafted in the first round. Look at the quarterbacks in the NFC right now. Some of them haven't been drafted in the first round. Sanders just needs time. He's a good quarterback with a lot of skill and knows how to manage the medium better than any player I've ever seen. Well, I mean, managing the media, I just want him to manage the defense. I don't really give a shit about this. He's good with the media, so what? I want him to be able to read defenses. He doesn't play on time, and he holds the ball too long still. Those are traits that have followed him out of college, and those are traits that still resemble and still stay in his game right now. He doesn't play on time. Jalen doesn't play on time. He's not an anticipation thrower. Like, he doesn't have confidence in his arm to be an anticipation thrower. That guy's going to make a 15-yard outbreak, and I'm going to throw the ball prior to that. He's going to turn the balls there. Jalen doesn't throw the ball like that. Jalen does not. He doesn't have that skill. It comes with trust. You got to have trust in your game to be an anticipation thrower. Brady was an anticipation thrower. Manning was an anticipation thrower. Why do you guys think those guys fucking practiced endlessly, the same route over and over and over? You know, Rizzy Wayne told me a story about Peyton Manning prior to a game. Those guys would practice 3 hours before every football game, the routes they were going to run in every single game. And every single game, they would practice between 2 and 3 hours getting ready. So when they got into the game, those pass routes were there. And they were comfortable throwing them. And he was comfortable throwing to a spot. And he was comfortable being an anticipation thrower. The more you practice that, the more you become comfortable with that. Personally, I don't think Jalen works at it enough. Because it's 6 years in and he still doesn't throw to spots. He throws to areas. And they're the same areas. Right, left. And when now they're trying to open it up, biggest mistake the offense will make. If they continue to keep that offense open like that, he'll have 3 more picks in this game against the Raiders. Let me tell you something. If they do what they did last week against the Chargers and they open up that offense like that, he'll have 3 more picks in this game and you will lose. Sills, would you take a chance on the kid from Louisville in the second round? We drafted Dickerson with the same injury. First, you get your O-lineman. So you go in that offensive line and you want to go quarterback in the second round. They're not going to go that high. They're not going to go that high in the second round. They're just not. Are you talking about the kid Miller Moss? I've seen him play. I saw him against Miami. I think he anticipates his throws well. I think he reads the defense pretty well. He's got great athleticism. He understands offenses. He looks like a pretty decent talent. I don't know about a second rounder, though. I don't. If I'm not mistaken, didn't that kid transfer from Southern Cal? Why do I remember Southern Cal on that Louisville quarterback? I thought he came from SC. I think it's a rift between Hurts and the coaching staff. They say, hey, Jalen, we need you to play in the confines of the offense. We're leaving meat on the bone, and he plays his game and doesn't play the offense. Gun report looks true. I think more than anything, I think you're starting to see Jalen Hurts not really trust the coaches and the coaching staff. And I think they are on different pages. I think the wide receiver core is on a different page. Hey, listen, the wide receivers, and I think the wide receivers are on page with Kevin Patullo and Nick. And I think Jalen's on his own island over here. And I think he picks and chooses on what he thinks is best to win. He listens to the coaches, and most importantly, I think he listens to himself. I think, and this is why Nick keeps saying this about the quarterback's playbook. The offense is Jalen Hurts's. Folks, stop blaming Kevin Patullo on play calling. He's not very good in-game feel, which is evident. By the way, did you see that he's going to get an interview for the vacancy with the New York Giants? That's set up by the league and by the Eagles. They're telling you. Did you see that? And his agent, yes. Did you see that? Kevin Patullo is going to get an opportunity to get an interview to become the next head football coach with the New York Giants. That's a sign coming out of Philly. That's set up by the league. That may not even be true. The Giants probably don't even know that. That's speculation. The Giants don't have to confirm that. That's coming out of the Eagle PR department. That's not coming out of New York. Is anybody seeing that coming out of New York media? That Kevin Patullo is going to be potentially interviewed, become the next New York Giants head coach? Show me one place in New York where somebody reported that works on the radio or anybody in the newspapers. It's the national guys. They're getting that from Bob Lang and the Eagles. The Eagles are bleeding that out. Boomer said it just, yeah, hey. Actually, I asked Boomer, are you hearing these reports? I asked Boomer, who's been on this show 5 times. I asked Boomer, is Kevin Patullo up for that Giant job? He goes, you're the first one that's told me that. He goes, I haven't heard that. I saw a report by one of the national guys that Kevin Patullo is going to be in line to have an interview with the New York Giants. The New York Giants don't have to confirm that. Why would they? That's coming out of national people. That's not even coming out of local. I mean, why do you think? Hey, and you know, I'm going to throw this out there too to you. If I were Jalen Hurts and I were his people, Nicole Lynn, I'm going to go to management at the end of the year. What would be my biggest concern if I was Jalen Hurts and this thing ends poorly? What would be the number one thing that I would want if I was Nicole Lynn? At the end of the year, if I'm Jalen Hurts, what would be the one thing you would want? If you're Hurts at the end of this year, I thought about this last night. O-line. I don't think you're in the same room with me. Not blaming him. We're kind of getting there. New arm. Okay? experienced play caller. Hey, what would be one of the biggest things that you would want? An offensive coordinator that can help him grow. Okay. Ability to read. Hey, guys, who was the guy that brought the moral thing up? And the morale. Who was the guy that brought the morale up of the locker room? Who's the guy that brought that up? Somebody in here brought that up. The morale of the football team. And, how did people in the locker room were perceiving this thing here? So, Tyler, if you're Jalen Hurts, at the end of the year, wouldn't you do this? If there's somebody in that locker room, guys, I'm talking to Howie Roseman and Nick, who doesn't want to go along with what I'm doing, get them the fuck out of here. I don't need some of these people bleeding stories to the media and telling people behind the scenes. I heard Jalen Hurts say something in a presser the other day when he said this. Saquon Barkley said that the culture on the sideline or the attitude on the sideline was horrible. Hurts looked at him and went, he said horrible? Like he was shocked himself. He said, yeah, he said horrible. Okay. And then Jalen answered the question. You know what I would want? Either you're with me or you're not. You got to have guys that are with you, buying in. And if there's players in that locker room that are talking to the media, like fucking Jordan Mailata's fat mouth and some of these other people, get them the fuck out of there. You can't win with noise. You can't. Either you're with them or you're not. You can't have a fucking locker room where you got people bleeding stories to the media. You just can't. So, something goes on in the Eagle locker room. All of a sudden you're hearing Hurts is aloof. Hurts is this. Hurts is that. Where's that shit coming from? That comes from your locker room. Somebody's talking to the media. If there's 5 people, 3 people, get fucking rid of them. Either you're with Hurts or you're not with him. You can't be coasting along like this and having all this noise. I'll tell you what, in the 5 years, am I right, Xander? In the 5 years covering the Eagles, I've never seen more noise for this football team, and you're fucking winning still. Get them guys out of there. If you got people that are unhappy here, that could be AJ or anybody. Get them out of here. That goes down the line of crumbling your culture and also your discipline. Look, pick a side. Pick a side. You're with Hurts or you're not. Hey, dude, it's one thing for me to say all these things. It's another thing for other people to say those things too. But when you're in an NFL locker room, you got to be rowing in the same direction here. You can't have guys going out. And by the way, you know what I think happened with success? Everybody wants to be a media star now. Everyone's got a podcast. Jordan Mailata, seriously, man, this guy looks like fucking Frank Sinatra. Every time I look at him, he's like, he's in front of a mic. He's like, do your fucking job, guy. I saw you get run over this year numerous times. Are you talking to the media? You look like you're pretty media friendly. Being media friendly is a bad thing for a football team. Nobody wants media friendly. I'd rather have Jalen Hurts talking stupid in front of the mic than get this. I'd rather have Jalen Hurts' press conferences than Jordan Mailata's. Now that's as a player. Jordan Mailata, for me, content, it's gold. But if I like it, it's bad. Seriously, if I like you as a media guy, that's a bad thing for a team. Give them shit. You got too many mouths with too many agendas on your team right now. You got too many agendas. Quarterback's this. Wide receiver hates this guy. Wide receiver hates the game plan. Wide receiver hates this. Offensive line doesn't like this. Defense over here. The only thing I can say about the defense is they keep their mouth shut. The defense is more together than the offense. The defensive side of the football team pull for one another. The offensive side of the football team doesn't pull for one another. You got different agendas. Barkley wants to get his yards. AJ wants to get his touches. Jalen Hurts wants to look a certain way so people can look at him in a different light. You got a coordinator that's trying to become a head coach somewhere. And you got a head coach that's trying to keep his place in the locker room. That's what you got going on this year. The defense keeps their mouth shut. You know why the defense is good? Nobody's got an agenda there. Now, the only guy that I've had a disappointment in and having an agenda this year has been Jalen Carter, because that's his agent. Jalen Carter has an agenda, and it's called $180 million. Some would say, hey, Sills, do you blame him? No. No. AJ's David Ruffin? Isn't that guy a singer? I'm with the Eagles. I don't care about the name on the back. That's how you should always look at it. Dude, I think there's too many agendas and too many big mouths in there now. You got people doing this. Quarterbacks this, quarterbacks that. Then you got the organization putting things out. Get this. So the organization has put out and threw out there so that they can go down their media line. Kevin Patullo's going to get an interview for the New York Giant job. That's a shot at Hurts. Look at what he's got to deal with. And they're still winning. It can't be anything else. Hurts ain't playing well. What else could it be? Look at how Kevin Patullo has really performed with a limited quarterback. You know, I said this, and here, it made me think about you last night when I was watching Josh Grizzard, the Buccaneer OC. Ask yourself this. So if you're a first-time play caller and you lost Mike Evans and you lost Chris Godwin, you lost 70% of your offensive line throughout the entire year, and you're a first-year play caller, are you qualified to handle the loss of personnel on how you can call a game around the loss of that personnel? If you lost almost all your offensive wide receiving group, you lost 70% of your offensive line, do you think that you're qualified to call plays when you've never dealt with loss of personnel? Do you think you know what you're doing? Have you ever been in that situation before where you've lost somebody and you still had to coordinate? The answer is no. So how could that guy have been qualified? Well, let me ask you with Kevin Patullo. If Kevin Patullo's got injuries to Lane Johnson, and he's got injuries to Landon Dickerson, and he's got injuries to a center, and A.J. Brown's been banged up a bit this year, what makes you think he's qualified to handle adjusting around players when you lose talent in your offensive huddle? How in the world can he handle that? He's never had that situation before. Fuck, he's never called 17 games in an NFL season. How can that guy handle that? What would he know to call? How do you manage around not having Lane Johnson? What do? Run the ball more? No. You know what he's doing? This is why he's not running the ball as much, especially in second halves. You know what he's doing? Because Lane Johnson's not there, he's not running the ball. Well, what does that tell the defense? They're not going to run the ball a lot. Lane Johnson's not. And Lane ain't playing this week. How do you think Pete Carroll's going to deal with that? I mean, this guy telegraphs his game. He's so easy to figure out, Kevin Patullo. He's not going to run the ball. And you know what they're going to do? Here's what you've done. you'll probably have 10 carries in the first half. And in the second half, you'll have 3. You'll have 3, especially if the Raiders get a lead. He'll panic. Run game's not working. Got to throw the ball. That's what Pete Carroll's going to do. He's going to make you throw the football. They're going to do everything in their power to make Jalen Hurts win the game. They're going to make him throw the ball 40 times. Pete Carroll knows right now, if you throw the ball 40 times, the Eagles lose. And Max Crosby's going to be on Fred Johnson. Oh, wait. Fred Johnson's now injured? So, wait. You got Max Crosby floating around out there? And you got a second-team guy playing against him? You better go 2 tight end set. You better go 2 tight end set. Wait a minute. Fred's out? So what? You got Matt Pryor against Max Crosby. Is that right? So Max Crosby's lining up against Matt Pryor. This game just got a little more interesting for me. Dallas Goedert's going to get this too. You know, how do you think that affects your tight end core? Dallas Goedert's got to stay in for max protection now. Matt Pryor is now blocking Max Crosby. Okay. Eagles might lose to the Raiders. I'm not overlooking the Raiders. Hey, somebody confirm that Fred Johnson's out. Oh, my God. Can you imagine Kenny Pickett rolling into Lincoln Financial and fucking winning? Tight end will have to pick, and he will become a short dump-off guy. Fred Johnson was limited. Great. So even if he plays, he's a hurt player going against Crosby. Okay. We want Tanner Goat McGrady. How you doing? I got you, dude. They asked Nick who's playing with Fred and Lane out, and he said he believes in his guys. He didn't say who. Oh, Nick, man. Give him shit, Nick. He's not ruled out. He was limited today, okay? Pack this season up. Let's see if let me take a look at something on the playoff race. You're still going to be in that 4 hole or 3 hole, I think. No, if Carolina wins, you go into the 4 hole if you lose. Yeah, because Carolina, where's Carolina right now? Carolina's 7-6. If they win this weekend, they got the Saints. They're in the 8 hole. They'll be 8-6. If you lose, you're both 8-6. Panthers will move into the 3 hole. You'll move into the 4 hole. And you would have to potentially play Seattle in the opening round at Lincoln Financial. Seattle's 10-3. Hey, let me get this right here. So last year, Sam Darnold was 14-3. Now he's 10-3 this year. So he's 24-6. That guy's won 24 or 30 ball games in the last 2 years. What the hell happened to that guy? Whew. Hey, Big Seals, how do you drop that TD pass last? Oh, no doubt. I thought too, seeing Mike Evans last night, I thought that was great. Evans was spectacular last night. 6 catches, 122. After missing a boatload of games too, man. I thought he was great last night. I thought Baker and them guys, they had a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter, and they lost it to the Falcons. That's not a good team. They're not a very good football team. The Bucs are not a good football team. Eagles probably activate Cameron Williams and use him in 13 personnel over Pryor. So you're coming up with gimmickry now to get Max Crosby. Is that right? Why did Baker not throw it to Evans more? I think Evans got banged up a little bit. And also, too, Senor, I thought it was a little more with conditioning. Mike had missed like 3 months of football. And I think they were putting him on a pitch count last night. He got banged up a little bit, too. We texted him in the morning, and I thought he got banged up. He's sore as hell right now. So I think they had him on a pitch count. I mean, he had 12 targets after missing like 4 months of football or 3.5 months of football. And I thought that was a lot. Man, the Eagles better take the ball in the second half. Let me tell you what, man, they need to run the shit out of the ball against the Raiders. Bro, he's a Cameron who? Who are you talking about? So you're going to take a guy off your practice squad and he's going to block Max Crosby? You might. Sills on your Bucks Todd Bowles maybe on the block after the season. Yes. I think he might be fired by the end of the year. The Glazers did this. They just gave him a 3-year contract extension. Well, if you remember right, after the 2007 season, John Gruden got a 3-year contract extension, right? 2008, he had a nuclear meltdown at the end of the year. They lost 6 straight. They fired him. Glazers don't give a shit. I would call it a Sills radio show, but I don't know how much about Bucks football. It's all good. You could talk Eagle. I got Abe calls in from North Carolina, and he talks Eagle football. I don't give a shit. By the way, you know how many Eagle fans and Philly fans are in Tampa? Thousands. Tons of Flyer fans. Still, believe it or not. Where do you think people go? Because of the Pennsylvania taxes and the New Jersey taxes and the Connecticut and New York taxes. Where do you think they go? They're going to Florida. Thank you, Richie. Appreciate it. Seals, I'd rather miss the playoffs so heads can roll than embarrass ourselves in round 1. I want to make the playoffs. I want my football team to have a shot at the title. Don't say that, dude. Don't wish for anybody ever to lose. That's one thing I have never uttered. I hope that team loses. I hope the Eagles lose. You've never heard me say that. Now, I may pick a team to beat you because I think they're going to be like I did the Chargers. Okay? I thought the Chargers were going to beat you. I didn't see anywhere you were better than them. So there's tons of Eagle fans here in North Carolina. Tons. Sharon Moore charged with stalking and home invasion. That's one of the craziest stories I've ever seen in my entire life. By the way, I have no sympathy for him. There's people at ESPN, like Adam Schefter, who needs his fucking head examined. This may not be true. You're like, guy, what are you fucking listening to? The police report, the school, his agent. But again, at the end of the day, what they're doing with this guy is they're giving this guy a hall pass for being and having an extramarital affair. He was a mental case anyway. He was not qualified to be the head football coach at Michigan. I mean, did you not see when he was like elevating his gumad from 40 grand to 90 grand? Who's the accountant guy at Michigan? Are you just giving hall money out? Are you trying to tell me all that stuff has to be okay because you know why? His girlfriend was getting state money in a raise. That's got to go through a comptroller. People around the room didn't know that shit was going on. Dave Portnoy's trying to make you feel too, by the way, that Michigan found out 24 hours before. That's bullshit. You know what happened last week or on the 5th of November? The 5th of November was National Signing Day. You mean to tell me on a 6-month investigation where you're going to fire a black head coach in Michigan that you fucking didn't know any of that? Come on, man. By the way, do you think if he beats Ohio State, they cover that shit up? I do. Who has a better game this weekend, Hurts or Phillip Rivers? That's a push. His dumbass didn't see the bait coming. Pretty white girl. Hey, dude, when you're in a position like that, when you're the head football coach and you're in a place of power like that, you got to have some fucking common sense about yourself, man. And the chick's on the field. There's numerous pictures of the chick on the field. She's down there on the field, and you're like, who is that girl? At least Belichick told you, this is my gumad. Big Sills is the best guy in sports talk shows. Keeps it real with the birds. How you doing, bro? Appreciate it. Thank you, Rex. Guys, hit that like button, man. Thank you. By the way, do you know how much damage you do to black coaches when you do stuff like that? Bobby Petrino can have the same gumad in Arkansas and have that chick on the back of his scooter having sex with her, and he's going to get multiple job opportunities because he's a white guy. When you're in that position and you're an African-American, you ain't getting hall passes, guy. You got to fucking know what you're doing. You're not getting a second chance. And if you do get a second chance, you know where you're going to be coaching? Eagle Creek University. You fucking don't get an opportunity to do that. Stupidity, man. And by the way, you don't see Mel Tucker. I have no respect for the guy. You know, I had an ESPN guy post something. He goes like this. If you're a white guy in Michigan right now, you should be ashamed. And I'm like, why? Because the guy had an affair? We'll turn everything into race. Unfortunately, those are the lowbrow thinkers. Michigan head football coach banging a white chick. And he thought that was just going to be like nothing and everyone was going to not look like. You're like, dude, there's haters in the world. I told you my deal yesterday. My social medias, people have to send me, I'm afraid of everything. Damn, dude. Sills, he's married to, that's not what I mean. I mean this. You don't think there's going to be haters out there that sees him with this? And I'm not saying that that's a wrong thing. I'm saying that there's haters in the world that are going to always be looking to take shots at you, especially Ohio State people. That's not the point. I know his old lady's white. That's not my point. It's possible Eagles come alive, and no, it's not. Dude, you're using the word hope. You're using the word hope. Hey, there's a chance the Eagles could come alive. Well, it's got to start against the Raiders. It's not going to start against whomever in the wild card round. By the way, you're in the wild card round. Correct, Sills. It's the way of the world right now. Dude, you're missing the point. people are going to look at that, and some people are going to hate that, and they're going to try to make an agenda out of that. I don't give a shit if you marry a Martian. I could care less. That's not the point. You're missing it. As always, not some are. Yes, this game was a tune-up game for the Eagles to get it together. Tune-up game. I wouldn't look at it like that. Maybe a get-right game. Is that what you mean? If that's the case, okay, I'm good. Wait a minute. Sills, you missed the point often. How could I miss the point on my own agenda and on my own show? I don't miss my point. I'm the one throwing topics out, not you. Of course, Adam Schefter backed him up. Why would you back him up? I'm not backing anything up like that. I got us losing to Seattle in the wild card. That's what it would be right now. Yes, Sills, for the Eagles to get it together. Right. Yeah, okay, yeah. It's a get it together game. They got to, man. Hey, by the way, if you get to the playoffs, if you go 2-2 down the stretch, you're going to get blown out in the playoffs. If you go 3-1 down the line, there's a chance, because I don't really – hey, here, the playoffs, could the Eagles beat the Rams? They have. Could the Eagles beat the Packers? They have. Panthers, I believe you can. Seahawks, that would be tough. Niners, I don't believe in the Niners. Bears, you lost to them. So if you were to go right now, it would be Packers and Bears. Whew. Eagles and 49ers. I like that matchup. I think the Eagles would beat the 49ers. Then Panthers and Seahawks. I think the Seahawks will win that one. So then it would be Seahawks, Rams. And it would be Packers, Bears. I'll take the Packers. Then it would be Eagles and Packers. At Lambeau. You don't get the tiebreaker here. They got a better record than you. You'd be on the road in the divisional round, because they're a higher seed than you right now. Packers are in the what? They're in the two. Yeah, they're in the 2-hole. Even though you had beaten them, you don't get that tiebreaker because they got the better record. You'd have to go on the road to Lambeau in the divisional round to beat Green Bay. If that were to happen right now. So you'd have to go up there, and you've proven you've beaten them already. Now, I don't think you're the same team that you were when you beat them earlier. What's crazy about the Eagles are you beat Detroit, Green Bay. You turn around and lose to Dallas and Chicago. I don't know who the hell you are. Yeah, well, here, Joe, 2023. Joe, what happened in 2023 versus the Bucks? Can you remember? What happened, Joe? What happened versus the Bucks in 23? Does anybody remember? Anybody remember? Anybody remember what happened in 23? You had beaten the Buccaneers earlier in the year. Then you went down to Tampa, and you got your asses handed to you. So when you say to me you've beaten them already, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers kicked the shit out of you in the playoffs. I think you only scored 6 points or 9 points, whatever it was. It beat you like 31-6. So I wouldn't sit there and go like this. Well, we already beat Green Bay. Well, I've got history that you went, and in 23, your football team had a really nice run. You know what? This really does look like 23 a little bit. I'm going to show you the difference. Watch this. 2023 and 2024. Let me show you something here. Eagles 2023 results. Eagles 2023 results. I'm going to show you something. And you tell me if you see the same kind of similarities here. Let's take a look at this. Okay, 2023. You guys won the football game against Tampa 25-11. You beat the Rams 23-14. You beat Miami, which was 31-17. They were a playoff team. You beat Dallas 28-23. You beat Kansas City 21-17. And you beat Buffalo 37-14. Right? Those are really good football teams. Then you went on that iconic run. Let's take a look at 2025, what you've done. And take a look at the results here of the games so far. So, you've beaten Kansas City. You've beaten the Rams. You've beaten Tampa Bay. You've beaten Green Bay. And you've beaten Detroit. And now you've lost 3 straight. Sure looks like the same kind of pattern to me. You start the season off strong, you play great against great teams, and you faded. Isn't that what you're doing now? Sure looks like the same pattern. You beat all those great teams early. Feels like I'm saying we beat good teams in a stadium. Now we lost 3 in a row. We might get bounced in the first round. I think you are. If you continue to play the way you're playing. Defending champ, kid, go sit in the corner. Defending champ has nothing to do with anything. Has nothing to do with it. See this guy? He's still on the parade float. He's still on the parade float. You got 7 different starters on that team this year. 7 different starters. And he still thinks it's the same fucking team. 7 different starters. And he thinks it's the same fucking team. It absolutely looks and feels. The owner doesn't think so. I mean, defending champs. Go sit in the corner. He's still on Broad Street. On the parade float. But then again, he's not. That's okay. He's a fan. No shade. It's a dumb take. Like, you got 18 new players on this team. 18 new players. I mean, defending champs. What do you think? This is the heavyweight championship fight? Where it's the same boxer? Nothing changed? That's your Mike Tyson? No, it doesn't. No. What does it mean? You're currently in the 3-hole right now, and you're on a 3-game losing streak. What has that helped you with the 26th ranked offense? Being the champs doesn't mean shit. Folks, ask yourself this. What does being the defending champ mean in the 2025 NFL season? What does it mean to you? What does it mean? Do you think it matters that the Kansas City Chiefs are the 3-time AFC champions, 2-time Super Bowl champions, and they're 6-7? What does it mean to them? He has that M. Reyes logic. I know he does. They don't want to see truth. Nick's way of thinking losing will get us stronger is fucking crazy. I heard that. Losing will make you smarter. Losing in adversity makes you smarter. I think he should have probably won adversity, not losing. Adversity makes everyone smarter. Defeat and failure, you learn from. That's kind of where he was. When he said losing, I was like, poor words. Okay? Poor words. Reyes is the ultimate Eagle insider. I bleed green. I don't doubt it, dude. You're under Bob Lang's desk all day. How could you not hear something? I mean, really? I mean, when you hang out all day under Bob Lang's desk, I mean, what else would I think? You kidding me? You are the ultimate insider. Shit, dude. Nobody's got a better insight than Reyes. When you sit the entire day under his desk, he's got to pick up something. Shit, man. I'm with you, Reyes. You are the ultimate insider. I heard it too. I heard you drinking from a sippy cup, which is psycho. Most of what Sirianni says is poor words. This guy's got a fucking binky with the Eagle Kelly Green on it. I love my Eagles. Actually, I love me some Gadwin. That's it, man. Sippy Cup Reyes. That's his new name. Sippy Cup Reyes. What's in that sippy cup? I don't know, and I don't want to know. I can promise you it's not eggnog. I can promise you that's not eggnog. Oh, my God. Is that fucking eggnog in your sippy cup, Reyes? Please tell me it is. Please. It's got to be. So Bejon Robinson was asked, oh, my God. Get this. I told my wife this. He goes, this guy's an idiot. So Bejon Robinson was asked about his childhood football days, and he mentioned the well-known game. Yes. And some Jalen night, I'm assuming, threw a fucking hissy fit, and Bejon had to apologize. Oh, my. How about this? I'm not going to use that word because, Xander tells me about the words. Smear the queen. Hey, we used to play a game called Smear the Queen. That's not exactly the word. This guy said this on a national broadcast last night. Bejon Robinson, there was a game. We used to say that. The gym teacher would go, let's go play Smear the you-know-what. And this guy said it on a broadcast last night. I heard it. I was watching it. I'm like, get the fuck. He's going to get big heat for that one. He's going to get big heat. I had people texting me when they heard him say it too, and I went, yeah, he's going to. Hey, the only things because Xander goes like this, YouTube watches words like that, so I'm not going to say that word. Okay? But I heard him say it on the Prime video or the Prime broadcast last night, and I was like, yeah, he's going to get killed for that. And sure enough, a Jalen and I came parachuting in. Hey! Hey! You can't say that! Oh, my God! No way! Did you hear what he said? I did. How about we have a new game called Smear Reyes? All right. The man who's got eggnog, I'm hoping, in his sippy cup. All right. What happened? So let me get this right. So is Fred Johnson lined up against who we got lined up against? Who do we have lined up against Max Crosby? Who, Xander? John McMullen? Who's lined up against Fred Johnson? All right. The legendary Mike North will join us at 4:30. The legendary Philly Godfather will join us at 5:30. Without further ado, A man is quickly becoming a legend. Oh, yes. Okay? He is, without a doubt, my friend, Big Z. Xander Kraus joins us now.
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
Good-looking lid there, kid.
Thanks, brother. How you doing, man? Wait, what happened? What did Bejon do?
So Bejon Robinson was on the broadcast last night of the Prime broadcast, and he was sitting at the desk with the players and what's her name? And he was asked a question about his football days when he was younger. He goes, yeah, I learned how to play the game, the tough way. We used to play a game called Smear the, and
what is it? Smear the queer?
Yeah, Smear the queer.
That's hilarious. Wait, now he had to apologize?
He had to apologize because some jailing I parachuted in and said,
oh my gosh.
You can't say that.
What's that saying they used to say when you were a kid? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt. Oh,
I started laughing immediately when I heard him say it, and I'm like, he's going to get total shit for that.
Wow, that's funny. I didn't even see that. That. I've been out. No, not at home though.
Holy cow, you're getting people in here saying your hair's growing.
Yeah.
Are you taking like food hair? Is that what you're doing there?
I don't take shit. I got a nice Puerto Rican barber who can hook me up pretty good though. So it's not bad. Finally got away from the white women and the white men who don't know how to cut hair.
After what happened in Michigan, I don't blame you.
I said, let me get a fresh Puerto Rican barber. He does well. So good job by him. Appreciate you.
Yeah, one thing though that I always learned for me though, because I'm such a big dude that I don't have guys cut my hair. I can't have it because I can't have draggage because my arms hang over the rails. And usually most of the guys that cut my hair, I get scrapage. And I can't have scrapage on my arms because I feel uncomfortable.
If I had a guess on you, I would guess Kim cut your hair.
Yeah.
Mrs. Sileo cut your hair.
Yeah, yes. My aunt used to cut my hair too. So anyway.
I don't blame
you. All right, dude. How you feeling about this game, man?
I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good. It's the Raiders, man. I mean, this team is – dude, I read out these numbers.
How come I feel like you're starting to convince yourself?
No, I'm not convincing myself. All right. I'm on the team. On the game, though. All right, ready? Raiders offense. Now, I know we all criticize the Eagles offense, and man, is it hard to watch. But we're talking like next level bad here. Points per game, 32nd in the NFL. Yards per game, 31st in the NFL. Yards per play, 30th in the NFL. Rushing yards per game, 32nd in the NFL. Passing yards per game, 26th in the NFL. Offensive DVOA, 31st in the NFL. First downs per game, 31st in the NFL. And third down percentage, 26th in the NFL. I mean, this offense is awful.
Okay. Can I counter that? Okay.
Sure, counter it.
Eagle defense ranked 21st. Passing defense 15th. Okay, not bad. Rushing defense 26th. Scoring, excellent, by the way, I believe. 9th. It's great. Red zone, they've dropped to 4th, which is great. They don't score inside the 20s. Third down. Let's see what the Eagles are here.
Yeah, but we all know that this defense is better than their numbers. In the case of the Raiders offense,
so are you on the side of Jeffrey Lurie that you think you have a Super Bowl defense?
No.
Okay.
That was baloney talk. But they are good. Don't you agree?
Yes.
They're not. They're not what their rankings say they are. Or defensively, I mean, objectively, they're not the 26th worst defense in football. They're not.
Okay. All right. Ask yourself this.
They play 80 plays a game.
I know. No, my wife pointed that out that night. She goes,
"Yeah, they play 80 plays a game."
Okay, so wait a minute. Let me ask you this: the worst performance would you say would be the Bear game?
Worst offensive performance this year?
Worst defensive performance?
Oh, defensive, yeah, for sure. 281 on the ground, absolutely.
What was the best?
The best defensive performance, probably the Packer game. They gave up 7 points in that game.
Okay. Okay, so what
what other games was the defense? I feel like there was other games.
Detroit was good.
Detroit was good. I mean, they really, the Jared Goff had a really.
I actually thought the Charger game was good.
Charger game was good. I mean, with the exception of that 60-yard play early, they really didn't give up a whole lot.
Okay,
so
here's my point. The greatest game you played and the worst game you played. That's who – pick a game in there. And if you got more of those good games, I think you are a good defense. But I think you're capable if your offense does not stay on the field. You're going to be in problems because you can't allow the other team 81 plays.
I agree with that. I don't think that's the thing. I think
I don't think this Raider team can do that.
That's what I mean. I think the perfect antidote to this Eagles offense is like the Raiders offense being even worse. Like there's no chance. It might just be a 3 and out. Who can have more 3 and outs in this game? Eagles offense or the Raiders offense? But I don't know. This Raider team. Here's one thing. Ready? In a weird way, the best case scenario for the Raiders this week is having their backup quarterback play because it can't get worse. And now you add in the element of the unknown of what that offense is going to look like on a week's preparation with Kenny Pickett as compared to how it's looked on game tape in the past for the Eagles. Now, I'm not saying that Kenny Pickett is some great player, but I am saying that players can have a good game on a given Sunday when there's not a lot of tape on them or there's not a lot. You know what I mean? I don't know what this offense is going to look like. Who knows what it looks like with Kenny? And the other advantage I give to the Raiders is the snow. I know you would think that would be an advantage for the Eagles, but let's call a spade a spade. Jalen Hurts is not good in weather. All right. He's not. And I know Saquon went crazy in the snow last year, but that was with that offensive line. Assuming the offensive line struggles in run blocking again, could the snow weirdly give Ashton Genty a chance to have a big game? I don't know. I assume they're going to feed the rock to him. So who knows? Let's see what happens. I will say this. If we lose this game, it's time to go scorched earth. It's over. It's over, and it's time to go scorched earth on this team. They're not going to lose, though. I got 24-13.
24-13. All right.
Eagles. And I got a defensive touchdown in there. Do not think I have the Eagles offense putting up 24 points.
Well, so wait a minute. So are the Raiders better or worse than the 2-11 Giants? Because the Raiders are 2-11 also.
Yeah, divisional adds an element. Adds an element, but yeah, they're probably worse than the Giants. I think. Giants have like some exciting young players, and especially when they beat us, they had Scadaboo who was playing good, and Jackson Dart was healthier and finding a little rhythm in his first couple games starting. That to me, this Raiders team is worse than that.
How about Pete Carroll factor?
I think that's an interesting factor. Pete Carroll's obviously a good coach, but he's 2-11. The Raiders suck.
You think he's capable of winning a game though?
Absolutely. I mean, they played the Bears really close. They played a lot of games really close. Now they also had some blowouts, but
you're going to get their best effort.
Yeah, I mean that's true of everybody. So,
well, you know what? Last night I couldn't believe what I watched. I watched Atlanta.
No, I'm talking about everybody. Everybody is going to get the Eagles are going to get everybody's best effort.
Yes.
This team's not very good so far. This team has not handled well being the hunted as opposed to being the hunter. If you remember their playoff slogan last year, on the hunt or whatever the hell it was, something, let's go hunting or what was it? I don't know what it was. Something about hunt. Yeah, they're not as good at being the hunted. Right? Feels like they've buckled a little bit here. But this offense got to get going. That Jeffrey Lurie comment was ridiculous. I don't even think
your special teams are like 25th, aren't they?
Yeah, what's he talking about? Oh, and the offense will get it going. It's week 15, Jeff. It's not week 4.
Would this be a worse meltdown if they lose this game? It would be officially a meltdown, I would say. You know what's similar? I went back and looked at your 2023 season. You had beaten Buffalo. You had beaten Tampa Bay. You had beaten Miami. You had beaten the Rams. You had beaten really great teams. And then you went on that death walk on the death plank towards the end of the season. Don't you see that right now a little bit?
A little bit. I mean, the thing about this final 4 games is the schedule is really set up to avoid an Eagle collapse. Like, even if they're not good wins, if
In
you
23, they weren't? You had Arizona?
no, you lost to
You had the
Arizona.
Giants?
I think you lost to Arizona and then the Giants back to back.
Yeah. Was it that set up too?
It was. It was. Maybe I'm putting too much stock in Vic Fangio.
Oh, no. No. I think that's fair. I do.
I don't know. Like, dude, I know this offense is bad, but these guys have been together a long time. It's not like that 23 defense. You're telling they can't get it going a little bit more than this. I mean, this is a joke. This offense has been a joke all year long.
Give me the biggest excuse why you think the engines have never started for this offense.
Why what never started?
The engines never started for this offense.
It's a good question. I mean, people probably won't like my answer, but I do believe that it is in a way Jalen, because Jalen has stopped running a lot more, and I think it's clogged. It's not to put it all on Jalen, but the style of football that they played last year, it played so free and open and good because they were able to run the ball. And when they ran the ball, and by the way, I will also remind everybody of this last year. This is the modern era where passing games have taken over the NFL more so than at any time in history. And running games are kind of going extinct. If you remember when we signed Saquon Barkley, that was like a big deal because running backs weren't getting big contracts. Remember the Josh Jacobs contract that same summer? Running backs had kind of become, ever since Saquon last year, they were starting to, but the running game was kind of ruled out. Right. So the way the Eagles won last year was so foreign to the last decade of the NFL that defenses really weren't prepared for it. You had slower or smaller edge rushers, younger or lighter, faster linebackers, which are great in coverage, but not as good against the run.
Money spent
dominated their way. Now you've come into this season and you've tried to take that same offensive approach where defense has spent all year figuring out how to stop the run better. And the passing game, which was not that great last year, it was efficient last year. Certainly wasn't prolific in any way. I think if that got going, it would have opened things up a little bit more. But they tried to run. The run has not worked. It's been clogged up. They never got the passing game going, and now they're kind of playing from behind the 8 ball and trying to get the passing game going because it's been obsolete for 2 years. So now you're playing catch up. You throw 40 times versus the Chargers, you have 4 picks. The passing game never got going. And to me, that's created a clog. It's a clogged offense because defenses know. I mean, people think about this. When you have a passing game working, even if it's not to a crazy level, linebackers got to play 3 steps or 3 feet in a different spot because they got to take away passing lanes. Yeah. Safety's got to play a little bit nervous because they don't want to get beat over the top. When you don't have that threat consistently, everybody closes in a little bit more. It's like the baseball diamond. When you shift the diamond, it's harder to get the ball through the diamond. Right now, it's harder to get the run game going because they haven't opened the valves in the passing game and forced defenses to play them differently. So I think it's more that. Now, if you want to put that on Jalen Petula, I don't know what you want to put it on. To me, it's more quarterback based. And, I think he's really got to try and, be more efficient in throwing the football and try and get this thing down or run the ball, Jalen, He's not running the ball anymore. Did you hear John this morning?
No.
I said, John, why is Jalen Hurts not running anymore? Please, what do you know? He said, if I could go higher than 100% reason, I would go higher to 150. Jalen Hurts is the sole reason that Jalen Hurts isn't running anymore. It's not Jeffrey Lurie. It's not Howie Roseman. It's not the Eagle coaching staff. It's not Kevin Petula. Jalen Hurts doesn't want to run as much for whatever reason. He got the concussion last year. He's had 2 injuries now, if you remember the year prior.
He's got the McNabb illness.
So Jalen doesn't want to run anymore. Okay. The other thing that John said this morning that was interesting.
Remember I said this to you a couple of weeks ago? He wants to be perceived like these other guys in the league. That's what he wants.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think there is, look, everybody wants to make money. I mean, he wants to make money as long as he can. He's a quarterback.
But I think he's got the money. He wants the perception.
No, but he wants to have contracts when he's 35 years old.
Well, he ain't getting them.
Well, I agree, but I understand what he's trying to do. It doesn't make it right, though. And the other thing that John said this morning that I think you would find interesting was John used the word ecstatic when discussing Kellen Moore leaving the Eagles. he was ecstatic to get out of Philadelphia. Now, John said this, because I want to give you the full context. John said it wasn't because of Jalen or the offense or any of that. It was because of the media, because of the pressure in Philadelphia, because of all of the things that come with playing in Philly, which it is a hard place to play. But I did think that comment was interesting.
Kellen Moore wanted to get the hell out of here because
who would have thought Kellen Moore didn't want to not pass the ball?
Well, he couldn't pass the ball because the quarterback can't throw it.
Well, remember, John also said, John had sometimes when I re-listen to my morning show and I'm like, damn, John dropped some tidbits. The other thing he said was
good.
The first 4 games last year was the only time in the Nick Sirianni era that he allowed a coordinator to run not his offense. So last year,
the motions and all that went away right after.
The first 4 weeks was Kellen Moore's offense, and the offense didn't do well in it. And that was the only time in the Sirianni era that they've run an offense that was different than the Sirianni offense. After week 4, they pivoted, went back to run first, went back to simple concepts. Kevin Patullo hired, same playbook. Shane Steichen, same thing, operated from the Sirianni playbook. Remember, the Sirianni playbook originally came from Phillip Rivers in Indianapolis.
Yeah, but how does that explain the 20 turnovers in 23 then? That was Nick's offense.
Well, that's fair, but I think they were more aggressive in 23 with the ball.
They were. They threw the ball 560.
Jalen actually, honestly, 23 was not a bad year for Jay. Outside, I know he turned the ball over a lot, but he was throwing the ball around in 23.
But that didn't phase them. What phased them more was the turnovers.
Right.
So you know what? Right there, Xander, to your point, maybe that's when Xander, that's when they stopped developing him. Because if you would have kept Brian Johnson in there,
that was a mistake. That was a mistake.
I think that was a mistake too. They should have kept the guy and see what he could have done at 23 and developing him. Because if you go back again, as I did yesterday, I went back and I looked at those first 17 games. He had 20 turnovers. And then the Kellen Moore's first 4, the guy had another 7. He had 27 turnovers in 21 games. Wait a minute. Okay. That's when Nick said, fuck that. We're going back to what I know works like in 22. We're not going to throw the ball high volume. And so John's right, bro. When they
I guess Slager's right, though. We can't really say it's a mistake. I was more Slager. I agree. You're right. It's not a mistake. But from an offensive development standpoint,
it's not a mistake, though. But what happened was okay, is this fair? At the expense of developing the quarterback, you decided to do what was best for the team. And what you did was you cut the quarterback's legs out from under him on developing him because you had Barkley, you wanted to run the ball. You knew that was going to win a Super Bowl because your defense was so great. And so what you did was you just said, passing game, we're going to put you over here for a while, and we're going to run through the tape this style of football. What you did was you put the development of the quarterback, which is the most important thing you have to do as a coordinator, is develop the guy. You put that on the shelf, and this is where you are. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. Pete Carroll just announced that Kenny is going to start, by the way. So it's going to be Kenny Pickett on Sunday.
Jalen's backup. All right. So how about this? I want to point this out to you because I saw this last night with Josh Grizzard, the Buccaneer offensive coordinator. He's a first-year player.
They are. Talk about a collapse. That's a collapse. Yeah, that's a collapse.
2 wins in the last 8 games.
I am another take that was I wrong on earlier. I said earlier when the Bucs were, what were they, 6-2?
6-2.
When they were 6-2, I think I remember on the show stating that I thought Baker Mayfield had one of the best value contracts in football because he's making like $30 million, which in quarterback terms, I mean, Jalen makes 51 and Jalen's the 11th highest paid QB in the NFL. I mean, think about that. So $30 million on a quarterback is really good bargain, but
AJ makes more money than Mayfield.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, Baker's falling off a cliff. The offense is falling off a cliff there. I mean, shout out to Mike Evans, though. Dude returns fucking 6 games. How many games did he miss? Broke collarbone, comes up, puts up 130 plus. Mike Evans, man. I hope Mike Evans makes a Hall of Fame.
Oh, he'll be a first ballot.
You think so?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Ring tied Jerry Rice's record for most
longevity. Yep.
Yeah, no way. That guy, I already know 3 people that are voting for him. So I got something last night from the way Josh Grizzard was calling, because it was all over the place too. How in the world do you think a coordinator he's been schooled to be able to handle loss of personnel, loss of a guy being injured, loss of a guy in a huddle, loss of how you've got to manage and how you got to call a game when that particular superstar player like a Lane Johnson or an A.J. Brown or a Devontae Smith or whomever is not in there? What gives me or anyone the thought process that that guy knows how to manage around that when he's never played called his entire life? I say this to you because I got this from you a little more and I expanded it because I really thought that was an intriguing thing you brought up. How does the overall offense look? Not just the play in game calling, but how are you doing around the whole offense? And when I look at Kevin Patullo, do you think he's handled the loss of talent and the injuries and the ability to call a game when they go away from the run game? They have a guy injured in the offensive line. They get away from it. Is he getting away from it because he doesn't trust the fact that Fred's in there and Lane's not in there?
Maybe.
Is that what they're doing here? So to me, again, I think you've got to go with the strengths of the personality of the team. I mean, Stoutland coaches Fred Johnson the same way he coaches Lane Johnson. Why would you do anything different?
Yeah. Fred is going to play, by the way. But yeah.
So he's on Max Crosby.
Fred's on Max Crosby, yeah. He's better than Matt Pryor.
Okay.
Jalen's got to get the ball out. Get that ball out. Wait, so we're gonna have let's do the math. We're gonna have potentially 30-mile-an-hour winds. We're gonna have 2 to 4 inches of snow.
Is Carter playing?
I don't think Carter's playing. Let me see if they put an update on that. John said he doesn't think so. John said no Carter, no Lane again.
No Carter, no Lane.
Yep.
Okay. So that
did you make your pick? I didn't hear your open. Did you make your pick? Who's your pick?
I did.
You didn't pick the Raiders.
No. What did I get? What did I do here? I got 26-19 Eagles.
26-19.
I got 26-19 Philly. Still a one-score game.
Costello has the Raiders winning. Costello, what are you smoking? Peyote?
Who covers Brack Bowers?
See, that's tough. If I'm them, I'm lining him up on Reed's stinking ship all day.
I'm putting him in the slot.
Yeah, line him up. Make sure Reed's on him. If Reed's on him, he's burnt toast all day long. Or the other guy. Or Epps. Whoever. Doesn't matter who's on him.
Quick throws.
Did you try and put Cooper DeJean on him?
Oh, that's a win for Bowers.
It's better. It's better than Reed or somebody else on him.
What's Bowers doing this year? Let me see what Bowers is doing. God, this guy's a fucking tight end. Am I right?
I got some defensive scores in this game. Like, look at Reed. Look at Curtis. The biggest issue I see in this game is that you have to score points to win.
What's Genty doing this year? He's at 3.5. That's not awful. He's on pace for about 900 yards. They're terrible everywhere on the offense. What was Geno doing?
Geno was, he was bad this year.
Get this. 3,400 yards he's on pace for. Now he's hurt. 21 touchdowns, 19 picks. That's what he's on pace for. How do you not blow this team out?
We should. You think Kenny Flickett's going revenge on us for trading him to the Browns?
I got another one for you. What about Devin White? You think he's got an ass?
No.
He
does have an ass, but he's playing like shit. He's got a lot of tackles. That's about it, brother.
Yeah, when you're on the shittiest defense in football and you got 130 tackles, what are you telling me?
Yeah, not that good,
what are you running? What are you running from behind to get these guys?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Holy shit here, man. All right. So what do you think the Lane Johnson and Jalen Carter not being in there? You think this moves the game closer?
Well, let's see.
What was your score? 24-13?
Yeah, 24-13.
Okay, so you got a 2-score game.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Anytime you lose Lane Johnson, you can't just bat an eye at that. All right. I mean, they're 0-3 in the 3 games he's missed in the last 3. They lost to the Bears, lost to the Chargers, lost to the Cowboys. That's a big problem. But I feel fine about the defense because they looked good last week without Carter.
I got another one here for you. These next 4 games, will they change the narrative of Hurts, or will they expand?
He's in control. He's in control. For all the people who do not like Jalen, I got news. He comes out here and cooks. He's going to get the team back to the playoffs for the 5th straight season. And it depends what it looks like, but, he'll probably be more positioned to get a contract extension this offseason than not. Because, John pointed out something to me. The way the Eagles do their contracts, and all of you know this if you've paid attention to the way they do Lane Johnson's contract, but they sign these contracts and they push a lot into the future. They keep the cap hits really low early. And then once the cap hit takes a major hike, they rework the contract. And they typically add extra years. They move the void years back again, and they play the whole song and dance. That's what they've done with Lane. Jalen has a much bigger cap hit next year. I think it goes up another $15 million on the cap hit. So it's up to like almost 35, I think, or something like that. And I could see the Eagles reworking that contract. Now, if he doesn't, and the team, let's say they go 2-2 and they get bounced in the wild card round, well, we're having completely different conversations. I mean, I don't think they're going to do that. But
if they go 2-2 and they go 11-6 and they get bounced, how important will 26 be for Hurts?
2-2 would be 10-7, right?
Yeah, sorry. That's right. 3-1. Yeah. You land on my prediction of 11-6. I said the team would win 11 games this year.
Yeah.
They would be 11-6. Okay. You're 11-6. You get bounced in the opening round. How important will 26 be for Hurts?
Very important. Like it'll be, and it won't just be people crying on social media that people are talking about. Like all the people, by the way, Philly fan, what happened to this city? I mean, I go on Twitter like for 10 minutes today, and literally there's 40 tweets straight of Eagle fans crying because somebody on WIP referenced the backup quarterback. Dude, get the fuck over it. It's like, what are you talking about? The quarterback's played like dog shit for 5 weeks. The offense blows right now. You don't think the people who do talk about sports for a living are going to bring up everything? I mean, come on here. Saquon Barkley is one bad game. Everybody calls for Tank Bigsby. I mean, come on. I don't know what happened to the crybabies in this city. It is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. But anyway, I digress. 26 going to be huge, bro. It's going to be like he better show it or they will Carson Wentz him. And all the Jalenites will be the ones who make the biggest turn. That's my prediction. That's exactly the way it went with Carson Wentz. All the people who gave death threats to Joe Santoliquito for reporting that Carson Wentz was a problem in the locker room are all the same people now who bash Carson Wentz the most on his way out the door.
Yeah.
It's all the same people. It's always the same people.
By the way, we'll read your super chats. Please hit the like button here. How important are these next 4 games for Nick?
Important. You're the head coach of the football team. I mean, are you going to have 2 collapses with this level of talent on your roster 2 and 3 years?
I love how you're filling this in because it's an open-ended question. I want to see where you're going there with this. Okay, so you're looking at us overall.
The macro. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking at the big picture. I mean, in no world should this team win 10 football games. No way.
So in your opinion, they've underachieved this year?
100%. Now, they can go 4-0, get 12-5. 12-5, I think, is a good record. You get hot at the right time, potentially. Yeah, I mean, that I'm good with. That coming off a Super Bowl.
Dude, if you're between 12 and 14, that's exceptional.
10-7, I think, is just underwhelming for the level of talent you have.
It is.
Yeah. So, and also the thing that would go more into the 10-7 would be how it happened. Like you start 8-2 and then you finish 10-7. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? That's like the start of 2021, except reversed, right?
Right.
You go 2-5 in the back end in the back stretch of the schedule. So it that's part of it that it would be underachieving. But yeah, I think Nick will be on the hot seat. If they collapse this year and they lose let's say they lose in the wild card round and it's ugly and they never get the offense going, everybody will be on the hot seat except Vic Fangio. Everybody, the coach, the quarterback, the coordinators, the position coaches, AJ Brown, anybody that you deem a leader, Saquon Barkley, put them all in there. Because that would be, to me, approaching, instead of a bad ingredient, you just got a spoiled soup, and you might have to dump that soup and restart offensively.
Do you know, I reached out to Bill Moss. We've had him on a bunch of times.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Bill's great when he comes on.
Right. He's part of the broadcast.
He's a cheap site, though. He's a Mahomesite, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And by the way, he's in their Ring of Honor. He just got put in this year. Yeah. Okay. So you know who he is. Do you know what they are talking about right now in Kansas City?
Yeah, they don't like Andy right now, right? They're mad at Andy and Pat.
They think that Andy, the game's passed them by.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're wrong.
Of course they're wrong.
Yeah.
But if Andy Reid can be questioned right now by Chiefs Kingdom, fucking Nick Sirianni can be questioned.
Yeah, I agree.
By Eagle Nation.
And remember, this was a team that was trying to get a three-peat done last year.
Right. I mean, and they've been to
everybody's crying in Philly about, we won one Super Bowl. I mean, they won 3 in the last 5 years, and we're on the verge of a three-peat 8 months ago.
And they've been to the AFC Championship 7 years in a row. Andy Reid, the game has passed them by. I go, Bill, you gotta be. He goes, that's the Chiefs, man. I said,
see, Philadelphia has been on a cold streak, but this is a comment I actually agree with, and maybe gives me a small glimmer of hope on this team that Jalen will go gamer mode. Sometimes he can be just a total gamer. Philadelphia says, Xander, the records and playoffs don't matter. I've seen the Giants beat the perfect Patriots team in the 07 Super Bowl. The playoffs is a different season. You cannot take your numbers with you. Now, that I agree with. But will they be able to get it going is the big question there, Killa.
That's right. Absolutely.
I'm happy to see you ended your cold streak, Philadelphia. It's been a few weeks, man. It's been like maybe a month or two, my guy.
Dude, I agree. I mean, when you get into the NFL postseason, your records don't matter. I saw that, like you said, that undefeated Patriots team lose to a 10-6 New York Giants team. I mean, absolutely, man. So is it a Barkley game? Is it a Hurts game? Is it a defensive game? It's going to be, from what I understand, I heard you guys, I did listen a little bit. You guys said there's going to be weather on Sunday. Is that right?
It's going to be snow and windy. Let me look. I think the snow is supposed to be done by game time. I think last time I checked, I saw that. So, but there should be snow on the ground. See, it says snow, a little bit of snow on Saturday now too.
So who do you think that favors? Does that favor Philly with running the ball?
I think that favors the Raiders, unfortunately. Okay. Not in a huge way, but Jalen really struggles in the snow and weather. I mean, he's not a weather guy. He grew up in Houston, went to school at Alabama and Oklahoma. He's not a weather guy, and his numbers are not great in the weather. I know people like to say, oh, they won the Rams game in the snow last year. Well, Jalen didn't play too hot in that game with the exception of his 50-yard touchdown run at the beginning of the game. So I don't think the weather is great for Philly, especially for a team that's struggling offensively, trying to find an identity. It's hard to find identity in these games. But to me, it's a defensive game. I mean, I think the defense is going to suffocate that offense. That offense is brutal. I think you're going to get multiple takeaways, and probably I'm predicting a defensive touchdown in the game. And I'm predicting that Quinyon Mitchell will make a big play. That's my prediction. He's due for a big play, although they might not even throw at him. That's why it's hard to predict a Quinyon Mitchell big play.
I was questioned about my Pro Bowl ballot yesterday by a couple friends of mine when I turned it in. They said, no offensive guys? And that gave me a great topic. You think anybody on offense has played well this year?
Well, it's funny. On Xander Time this morning on my little segment I do after Birds 365, I went through everybody on the team, starters, and we looked at their contract, and we said, are they living up to their contract right now? Are they playing below their contract right now, or are they pushing? And the defense was, with the exception of Carter, who's, because of expectations, I think we said has been a little underwhelming this year, and Reed Blankenship, most of the defense is playing up to it, you know, and no one came out below 2, but
I think Bond's
to it. Jordan Davis, Bond, Nakobe, even Makuba as a late second-round pick, Jalen Hunt, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, all these guys, all right?
Jomo.
We went over to the offensive side, and it was basically the polar opposite, where Goddard's lived up to his 10 million. Smitty's probably living up to the 25, but everybody else is probably not. Now, I think the receivers and Goddard are more hamstrung because they're a quarterback-dependent position. You know, they need the quarterback to throw the ball well for them to have good numbers. But Jalen Hurts not living up to the contract right now. Saquon Barkley not living up to the contract right now. Jordan Mailata, I mean, I guess because there's not a lot of good tackles out there, he is, but I set a push on that because he's not the same player. Dickerson's not. Cam Jurgens is not. Steen, I think, is kind of a push because he was a third-round pick. I mean, a rookie contract. Goddard, yes. Devontae, I said yes, but it's close. You know, so it's the offense is, look, this offense is eventually going to have to hold their weight. Now, maybe Philadelphia is right and they come alive in the playoffs, but that's a lot of hope right there, you know.
I want to throw something at you that somebody brought up that was fabulous today here in the chat here, and I expanded it. The morale of the team. Now, and the morale of the locker room. Follow me here, Xander.
Yep.
If I'm Jalen Hurts, you know what my biggest bitch is right now about being on this team? Is the fucking noise. And let me tell you what I would do with my agent. I would walk in there and I would do this. Either the locker room is fucking with me and players in here are with me. Hold on. Wait a minute. You can't row in different directions. That's Carson Wentz.
That's fair.
If you're not fucking on the same page and there's guys leaking information to the media and giving different agendas.
Dude, but that's part of
Isn't what Alshon Jeffries did.
Yeah, but so what are you saying you think Jalen should do?
I'm saying this. Either you're with the guy or you're not with the guy. Get rid of the guy. You can't have a locker room where people aren't on the same page with one another.
I agree with
going
that,
forward. You can't have people doing this, Xander. Like Jordan, and I don't, and by the way, this is not an indictment on him, and I'm not saying he's doing this. But you can't have Mr. Media going like this. Hey, Bob. Or, hey, watch this. Hey, D Gun. You should see the shit that's going on inside the fucking locker room. It's fucking dog shit. Bro, you can't have noise like that out there fucking if you're sitting there in that locker room and you got guys that are talking shit on the quarterback. Either you're with him or not. Either you don't like the guy or you don't think he's the guy. You got to be on the same page. I can guarantee you. I've never in my life ever heard a locker room guy ever say one negative thing about Mahomes, about Stafford, about Brady, about Manning. There's no sidewine talking about those guys in locker rooms. There's none of that shit.
Yeah, I mean,
I think this was part of the problem that Rodgers had in Green Bay because there were people in that locker room that were talking about him being aloof and him being a jackass.
Yeah, well, guess what? That to me is a different problem. Like Tom Brady's probably aloof too, in terms of he probably was so hard. And remember, you know how it is in the locker room. You get 70 guys in the locker room. Not everybody's got the same motivations. Not everybody's driven the same way. Not everybody works at the same level. Not everybody has the same desire. Some guys want to go home at 5 o'clock.
Okay, did you in that entire?
Hear me out. But Tom Brady was so good that he overcame anybody being able to push back because there was what was viewed at the time as an infallible source of he is right. Even if I don't want to play that way, I know that Tom Brady is right. I think Jalen feels like he has that, but he doesn't have that. Like, I don't think the offensive personnel looks at it and says, oh, if Jalen says it's got to be one way, we got to do it that way. Like, in other words, you're not Michael Jordan, guy. You're not Tom Brady, guy. I don't know.
But he thinks he is.
I know he thinks he is.
This guy's walking around the locker room with equity he doesn't have.
Well, I mean, he does have some equity, and he should. I mean, he's been successful.
That's my point. Either be on with me or not. I mean, bro.
Yeah, but what are you going to do?
What
are you going to do?
I'll tell you what. You know what they did in New England? When there were players on that team that weren't towing the line, Belichick moved their ass.
Well, does that tell you then what the organization thinks?
Yeah.
Maybe they ain't as sold either.
I know they're not. And that's why the noise comes out. Do you hear Kevin Petula's name's being mentioned as a possible candidate to be the New York Giants head coach?
Yeah, I mean, some of that's bullshit. But yeah, I did see it. Remember, Brian Johnson got head coach interviews right before he got fired.
Where do you think that comes from? That's not from New York media.
Yeah, probably not. Probably more Kevin Petula's agent.
And the Philly media.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, where the fuck did it come from?
If I'm Petula, I mean, think about just Petula, like, as a person. Like, he I wouldn't surprise me if he wanted to get out of Philly. They got people at his house. I mean, because they can't. I mean, the offense that he's trying to run is just not built for this team. I mean, you know, if I were him,
Jalen's well liked in his locker room.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think there's definitely some dudes that aren't. You know, AJ is a lot more of like a personable guy that gets along with everybody.
Jalen is AJ's more liked in that locker room than Hurts?
I know he is. John tells me that all the time. John says if I did a poll.
Do you think that's the
one? Don't you remember when John said that? If I did a poll in that locker room, Jalenites wouldn't like the results. In other words, AJ Brown has more people in his corner in the locker room than Jay. But it's not like that. They don't view it like that. I'm just saying if you did make them view it like that, they would be more AJ. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Jalen's definitely got a little bit of arrogance to him, which I think can be a good thing. I mean, he's a star athlete and a star quarterback. I mean, you got to have a little bit of arrogance to be successful. But, you know, you got to have everybody bought in.
You know what I always thought that Tom Brady's greatest asset was? I thought he was the greatest teammate of all time.
Yeah, but Brady was definitely hard on teammates.
Well, that's okay when it's coming from a place of excellence. Hey, bro, when I got the greatest player in the history of the NFL offensively telling me that this and I've got to get my ass moving, and I see how that guy works and I see his attention to detail, I don't have a problem with a guy getting in my ass like that who does all the things that he's doing to try to be better, to make me better. I don't have a problem with that. I got a problem with a guy who's rolling around who doesn't have that equity in the locker room. You're telling me A.J. Brown has more equity with his players and more people are defending A.J. Brown than they are Jalen Hurts? Well, fuck, man. If I was the quarterback, I would be so pissed off at that.
It hasn't come to that head. It hasn't come to like a pick your side type of thing. It's not, that's never been brought up. It's just that A.J. Brown is probably more, I mean, look, A.J. Brown's a relaxed, fun, chill dude that talks to everybody, wants to talk about a lot of things that aren't football related. Like Jalen is a much more stoic, calm, you know, guy that doesn't.
He's weird.
Dude, did you hear Joe fucking Burrow at the podium? That's the weirdest motherfucker I've ever heard.
Let me tell people this. So I heard Joe Burrow fucking moaning.
And oh my God, he sounds like a loser.
I said the same thing this morning. I'm like, I don't want to hear fucking some guy talking to me about crying when you're making $55 million and you're sitting there telling me you're not having fucking fun. What is wrong with you, guy?
Oh gosh, I literally had to turn it off. Yeah, I had to turn it off. I literally couldn't listen to him. I think Joe Burrow is
so unbecoming.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, that's my point is that it doesn't matter that Jalen is weird. That's not the problem. I mean, to me, it's not. You know, I don't think that's the problem. But
I don't care about that either.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. But the question is, like, does he do enough on the field to demand? That's what I meant by Brady. You know what I mean? Like, you might get pissed at Brady, but, like, Brady did enough for you to know that's his team, and it rightfully so. You know, he showed it on the field every day, every week, every practice, every game. I think there are people who, right or wrong, believe, you know, does Jalen lift us up as much as he acts like he lifts us up? Does he do the job on the field, you know, to talk like he's the king of the hill? I don't know. I'm not even saying he doesn't do that. I'm saying I wonder if that's, you know, speculated on from the minds of the people who are listening to him, you know, because to be a great leader, Sills, You're not going to follow a war general into
No.
war that, can't hit a target.
A great general has great results.
Exactly. Exactly right. And that to me is the question there. But I don't know. I mean, I can't speak. I'm not in there, so I don't know. But
you think that's Jalen's team?
Right now it is. Right now it is.
Then how come the noise?
Here, ready? Let me present to you the case for why. And non-Jalenites, Jalen haters, close your ears. You're not going to like this. Underdog, you're not going to like this. Everybody that hates Jalen, if they're in here, is not going to like this. This is the uphill battle. Ready? All right, you want to move on from Jalen because you don't think he can pass the ball well, or you want to get – all right. This is what you have to be better than. Okay? You have to be better than 4 playoff appearances, 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. You got to get A.J. Brown 1,800 yards a year. You got to get Devontae Smith 1,400 yards a year. You got to have a 1,300-yard back, and you got to go deep in the playoffs every year. My point is, you're getting that with Jalen. It's hard to look at another avenue and say, "Oh yeah, we're going to have that for sure." That's no guarantee. That's moving. How good Hurts's results have been make it very hard to look at somewhere else and say the grass will definitely be greener over there.
So that's interesting what you just said. Say that again. You have to get all those people involved. Say that again.
I think the expectation is if you move on from Jalen and go to some passing quarterback, what are the expectations? Because right now the team wins a lot of games. They play late into the playoffs and they win. So if you go to a passer, now I got to satisfy receiving numbers. I got to win as much as Jalen won. I got to go as deep in the playoffs as many times as Jalen went. And, I got to feed all the mouths on offense and still win at the same clip.
Well, I think the pressure's more in Kansas City and Buffalo because those guys can't and don't have to get anybody else better. They've got to do themselves, and they got to do that shit by themselves. They've got to move the sticks. They've got to have a passing game.
Well, it's
on them. They got to run. Those guys don't have to. The
quarterback in Philly won't have to do that. The next quarterback
won't have to. Those guys don't have to do any of that shit. That's why the pressure on those guys is so high. They got to do all of that. They've got to make average. Guess what they got to do? You know what Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes have to do? They've got to make D students into C students.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Jalen Hurts has A students.
I don't disagree with that.
Get this. Jalen Hurts has A students. He's turning into C students.
I hear you. Like HKP, I love you, but I disagree with this notion. And I disagree with this notion. Any QB can get that. I understand that you think that you can plug and play. And probably you can. But a lot's going to have to go right for this team to replicate or duplicate the success in the last 4 years that Jalen has had as the quarterback of the team. It's not to say that they wouldn't do it. It's not to say that they can't do it. It's to say that it's a hard pill to swallow to move on from this level of success and go to another one and say, we're going to have that same level of success when the success itself is already unprecedented in the NFL.
That's why you can't bench them. I agree. And by the way,
I'm just telling you, that's a tough freaking pill to swallow.
You're the messenger. You're right. That is the Bills' fault. Let's get to some of these supers before Mike North comes in.
Oh, shit. Our segment flew today, man. I feel like I just got on here.
It did, bro.
Miguel, what's up, Miguel? Utah coach is stepping down. Oh, is he?
Well, Kyle Whittingham is?
Yeah, I guess.
Wow. Well, didn't
they just sign like a revolutionary deal with the venture capitalist or something?
Yeah. Capital investment. They did. Yes, they did. Kyle Whittingham, who is my friend. Actually, he's been on
this program. He's been
on our channel. Absolutely. He's been on our program here. And he is a dear friend. We're going to probably have to get him on again because I think he's been an absolutely fantastic coach in college football. So that's interesting. I wonder who will get that Utah job because that Utah job's a great job. They've got a ton of money, Xander. That's going to be a great gig to get too. So
man, a lot of openings now. I wonder if James Franklin wishes he waited. I bet you Michigan would have hired James Franklin if he was still out there.
Probably. Hey, that means I think Brian Kelly's name's going to be in that.
I'm hearing that DeBoer's name is in some of these.
Never happened.
Remember, his agent's Sexton, so you know what Sexton does. Sexton will go to everybody though because he wants a raise for Caleb.
What's a
I'm
bigger
okay
job?
with it, bro. I
What's
know
a bigger job than Alabama?
there's no bigger job than Alabama, but he's not a culture fit. Sills, we got this Pac-12 bum that wants to play cutesy football. That's perfect at Michigan. Go head over to that conference and play that bullshit ball. Nobody wants to play that cutesy bullshit in the SEC. You got to have physicality and a dominant mentality. He doesn't have that. He wants to play cute football on offense.
I'm not leaving Alabama for Michigan. I'm not leaving Alabama
as an Alabama fan, I'm requesting some of them.
Hey, I think there's only
I
one.
wouldn't be that mad. And you know what I'll do? Get the Alabama AD on the phone and call up Lane Kiffin and say, I know you wanted us all along. Before that ink is dry at LSU.
Now you sound like Dave,
to the University of Alabama.
Now you sound like Dave Portnoy. Dave Portnoy's like this. Hey, Lane, Lane ended up tweeting back at him, and he goes like this: once you become an LSU fan now, your football team just lost their head football coach. So hey, listen, the only job that would compare to Alabama would be Texas. Other than that, I'm not leaving Alabama.
Wow, I could see this. Jesse Minter back to
Michigan. The defensive coordinator for Michigan. I would not doubt if he's named in the next couple of days.
Isn't Minter? He's with the Chargers now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the DC.
Yeah.
Harbaugh brought him in.
Yeah, we just played him last week.
Yeah, right.
They shut our defense. They shut our offense down.
Yeah, that's probably who's going to be. Is Jesse Minter. There's nobody else. They're going to want a Michigan man in there.
If Bama gets bounced in round one, I will become a DeBoer hater.
So wait, how far do they have to go?
Well, I guess I don't know. He just got his ass handed to him in the SEC championship by a more physically dominant football team.
21 points.
Every Alabama fan, there's nothing. It's one thing to lose a ball game. It's another thing to get physically bullied, dominated, and destroyed at every level by Georgia. That is demoralizing. I'm telling you, people in the state of Alabama right now are still depressed.
I couldn't believe I tuned it on. It was 21-0. 21-0 in an SEC title game.
I'm just not a fan of
what if the board left and did this? I got one for you. So I tweeted at Kirk Herbstreit. I texted him. What if the board leaves for Michigan and Nick comes in and coaches the playoffs? Would you be up for that?
Wait, what'd you say?
I said the board leaves for Michigan and Nick comes in and coaches.
Oh! Nah, dude, I think Nick is chilling. I think he's like.
I think he would do it.
Yeah, did you see that video of him on his birthday when he's sitting back watching the NFL game and his wife's like, "Get up, Nick," and he's sitting his ass right up. That's funny. Fat Frank, thanks for becoming a member, brother. Fat Frank Barbecue. Sills, is that a good name for a barbecue spot or what, brother?
Absolutely.
Here's Shady.
Man.
What's up, Shady? Do y'all think the players haven't seen the changes in Jalen since he signed his contract? I think they've seen it. John has alluded to that, Shady.
So did Boomer Esiason when he first signed it.
Yeah. That's a part of it.
Got to learn to play with your deal.
That's a part
Absolutely.
of it. HKP, I literally listen to old Nick Saban bites like in my free time now because I love him so much. He gets me so fired up. All right, here we go. DC Mike says, Max Crosby's going to eat Fred Johnson alive.
Oh, I believe that. I do.
Yeah. Be tough to predict that not happening, to be honest.
I think you're going to have to get that ball out with that guy coming around the corner.
Here's Riot. Cheers, boys. The whiskey's on me. Pour one out for the Birds and their noodle arm QB.
Oh, my God. And their noodle arm quarterback.
Oh, man.
Hey, real quick here, man. What do you think the over-under is that Mike's camera works?
I think it'll work.
50-50? I still got 50-50, man.
Kirk Cousins in this offense. Come on, Khaled. He's like 38, dude.
Dude, he was humming it last night.
Yeah,
though.
dude.
76,
Look,
man.
If you give Kirk a pocket, he'll let that thing fly.
I told you yesterday, didn't I? I said if that guy – I picked Atlanta to win. I told you Atlanta was going to win that game because they weren't going to be able to stop.
Here's Blaze. What's up, Blaze? Is this the game Jihad plays more than Dean to cover Brock? Not worried about Genty. Their O-line is horrendous.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Guess what? I think they've done a horrible job with Jihad Campbell.
They're stupid. I mean, they draft a running back in the first round. They got so many needs on that team. They're dumb.
Absolutely.
Here's Cal. What's up, Cal? He has that M. Reyes logic. All right, one more, I think. Hey, Sills, gig him. All right, Sills.
Hey, Big Z. You got the Raiders, dog.
Listen.
You better take care of business, man.
It's a very simple ask for the Eagles. Beat the Raiders to get back on track. If you can't beat the Raiders,
team.
if you can't beat the Raiders, you don't deserve to play a lick of playoff football this year. You don't deserve it. And I don't think they will. So I think they're going to win that. They're not. Come on, dude. They can't.
Real quick before we get Mike North on, how about that Bears team, man? They go from 1 to 7.
Well, that Bears team, I'll tell you what, I know they lost the game.
Dude, I like the way they played too, man. I do. I thought
that to me is a loss you can live with because that Packers team, that's a good football team. That's a good defense. Jordan Love's playing really good right now. And the Bears were right there in my eyes. They played physical, tough. I think Ben Johnson is as legit as it gets. I think he's as – now, it's still early, but I do think he's as advertised. I think he's really changed. Now, Caleb – let's see what Caleb develops.
That quarterback, though, man, he's
the arm talent, though. That kid's got some arm talent, bro.
Yeah, you know what? Jay Cutler had great arm talent, too.
I get it. But with good coaching, maybe you can hone that in enough. I don't know. You're right. I still have questions on Caleb, but I see that guy make throws that
right now. I think. How about this? Before we get to Mike here, if I put Mahomes on that Bears team, they win the Super Bowl.
I'm not convinced of that. Not with that defense,
dude.
That defense is spotty. I know the DeAndre Mungai is a good look. I mean, they got some good playmakers, but I don't think they have an established dominant number one right now.
They shut the Eagles down.
I'm not saying they didn't. They're a good squad. You said they'd go win the Super Bowl. I'm pushing back on why I don't know if I believe that. It's the Chicago Bears. They've never been good in my 27 years of life.
You know the only reason I say that? Because I don't think there's anybody good in the league this year.
Well, that's the biggest thing going for the Eagles, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you get into the playoffs, you might have to play against Sam Darnold. You might have to play against Brock Purdy.
Whoa, ready this? No Mahomes, potentially no Lamar.
No Burrow.
No Dak. I mean, somebody wild is going to win the Super Bowl this year. How about Sam Darnold? How you doing?
I got the Rams winning it for Pat Callahan. Rest in peace to Pat.
I think the Rams are going to win this bitch too, man. All right, Big Z.
All
we will see you on the pregame show on Sunday, bro.
Sunday, brother. Later, man. Appreciate you.
You got it. Oh, real quick, Z. Who wins the Heisman?
Ooh, I got Mendoza. Yeah, I like Mendoza. I'm a fan.
Army Navy. Who wins Army Navy?
Always an Army fan, man. My brother's an Army veteran. Got to go Army, my friend.
Army Navy.
But Navy's the better team.
All right, Big Z.
Later, dude.
You know what, man? I learned one question. You know what? As a matter of fact, I was shunned by Mike North at an Army-Navy game. He was at one of them, I think, a couple years back. I thought no, it wasn't him. I think it was the guy from New York on WFAN because I used to go to Army Navy and there were like 7, there was the Radio Row that would send us there. It's one of the greatest environments I've ever been to is Army Navy. I thought it was a stupid game until I went and saw the march out. That's the last true college football game that we play in America today is Army Navy. It truly is, man, because those guys go fight for the country. They're not fighting to go to the NFL. So, all right, without further ado, I don't know where we're going here. The man who probably played without a face mask. This man rolled up his helmet just like my uncle, Andy Robustelli, and put it in his back pocket when he played football. And in 1963, he was hanging out. I'm going to assume he was hanging out. Is it at Wrigley Field or was it at the Soldier Field when it was 3 degrees and he was just a youngster? Ladies and gentlemen, our friend, one of the greatest sports talkers ever, the man who's Mr. Chicago. He is our friend Mike North, and he joins us now. There you go, brother. How you doing, man?
Good. I look like a white rapper. What's going on? Why am I off center? Hold on for a minute. Let me move. I look like a white rapper. I look like I'm undernourished. I look like I haven't eaten for months.
You look like you're a 70-year-old Eminem.
I really do. I feel like I'm Tommy Hawk on my 75th birthday trying to make a turn. You know what I mean? What's going on, handsome? Listen, first of all, I was at the 1963 Bear Championship game. My Uncle Leo, God bless him, he's still with us at 90. And my Uncle Joey, who's gone, took me to it. I was an 11-year-old kid. my mom, they said it was going to be cold. Make sure your parents, if you're going to go take your kids, make sure you're dressed warm enough. Well, my mom didn't give a crap, to be honest with you. She said, yeah, wear a couple pairs of socks. We got some plastic boots for you, couple jackets and a stocking cap. It's the coldest I've ever been in my life. But I saw Y.A. Tittle go down. The New York Giants lose that day. And it was the very first football game I ever went to. So I've had the opportunity to see 2 Bear championships in my lifetime. Pretty lucky.
That's pretty damn awesome there. But, Mike, I do have to say something. Born and raised in Chicago, it's December. Didn't you know it was cold?
Oh, it was brutal. But you look it up. Hey, Danny, you look it up. And by the way, it's good to be with everybody. You look it up. It was, if I remember, because I brought it up on my AM 1000 show today, the Odds Couple tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, and AM 1000. But Carmen DeFalco says, what was the temperature? I go, I think it was it was 10 degrees, but there was a wind. And we sat second to the last row at Wrigley on Clark Street side, which was the end zone, one of the end zones. Yep. And the wind was hitting us in the face. And he looked it up today, and he says it was 10 below with the wind chill. Oh. So it was one of the coldest days in the history of championship football. I still see my friend Ed O'Bradovich, who played in that game.
Yeah.
So, and he made a big play in that game. Larry Morris, Richie Pettibone. I knew them all. Davey Witt. So I remember everybody on every Bear team that ever played. So
I love Richie Pettibone.
Oh my God, great coach and a great player.
Man, all those guys were Butkus's friends and Ditka's friends. All them guys are like dear friends with them.
Oh,
guys.
Yeah.
I mean, they just revere Dick Butkus. And by the way, Matt, his kid, I'm great friends with. Because I vote on the Butkus Award. And so I voted on the Butkus Award.
Nobody ever played the game more fiercely than Dick Butkus.
No.
Dick Butkus was a friend of mine. Dick Butkus did TV with me a couple times. We revered the man in the neighborhoods. We revered him. He was a city guy from the South Side, 103, I think 50 Low Avenue in Roseland, Illinois, Chicago, which was a neighborhood. He went to CVS. He didn't practice, wasn't allowed to scrimmage at times with the football team because his simple form tackles hurt the players.
It's so awesome too, Mike, that he got a chance to play his high school football, his college football, and his pro ball, all in the state of Illinois.
Oh, he is revered in Chicago. I mean, everybody knows about him all over the nation. He is revered by us. And a lot of other players came out of that school. Keena Turner played for the 49ers, came out of Chicago Vocational, and my buddy Chris Zorich from Notre Dame came out of that deal. So
I love Chris, man. I mean,
good guy. Good.
Isn't his aunt like Olympia Dukakis or something like that? I thought
he never told me that, but I played a couple of his poker games, and I helped him deliver turkeys one year.
Yeah, Olympia Dukakis is his aunt.
Wow, I never heard that.
Yeah, for Moonstruck. Yeah, that's his aunt. Yeah,
I'm the love child of one of the Beastie Boys, as you can see.
All right, Mike, let's get in here, man. With the first, let's go Eagles here. Are you wavering on them a little bit after 3 straight losses now?
Let me put it to you this way: I knew what the narrative would be for the Eagles. And I knew what was going to happen to this team if everybody listened to everybody and said, let's throw the football all over the place. Let's get creative. I got a John Kincaid. Of course, you know who he is, I believe. He's a radio guy in Philadelphia, said it right. And I said it on the Big Sil show, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Take a good look at me. And I actually came up with
I actually love the lid, by the way, but please continue. I love the lid.
So I got to tell you, he said today they lost their identity. They got to run the football. They got to stick to the run. He thinks that Sirianni has influenced the passing game too much with the offense. And I sort of bought into that. I said, you want a Jalen Hurts that throws for 160 yards and you win the football game. And it hasn't happened. Now, I will also say this. Jalen Hurts played a horrible game. But that A.J. Brown, 2 touchdowns he should have had, and another one bounced off his hands for an interception. That dude had 6 catches. Big deal. When it came to the clutch catches, the very first play, he makes that catch, the game's over. They're ruined. They're done. Now you can freewheel it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I still believe in him. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not going to get off it. I know that Jalen Hurts played bad. The whole team played bad. It wasn't just, hey, stick with the run game, keep it simple, go back to where you were, and what got you to be where I admire your team. You used to bully people. Now you can't even do the tush push anymore. What happened?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No doubt. All right, the Bears. Let's go over there now with them.
All right. Well, that was such a complete preview in a span of under a minute and 28 seconds that you got to move on.
Oh, no. I covered it all.
It's the absolute truth. I'm sure you guys have talked about it all week.
No, I just was like, that's the breakdown right there.
That's it. It's over with. Let's go.
That's why we scoot on, because
that's it. We don't play.
That was inexperience. We'd still be hanging here, but I think you gave the total breakdown of exactly what happened in that game against the Chargers. So now we're on to Bears and Packers. What happened, Mike?
Ben Johnson. He coached such a great game. Called every play. Couldn't predict what he was going to call. Caleb Williams threw an interception for the second game in a row. He had been more careful, but he also fit some balls in. His inconsistencies drive the coaching staff bonkers, no doubt about it. The Bear defense coming up with stuff again right off the bat, but still giving up a lot of yards. The last play of the game was Ben Johnson's worst call as an offensive coordinator. Take the snap if you're Caleb Williams, roll to your left, and then throw across your body to the middle of the field with the clock winding down and underthrow it to Cole Kmet where it's intercepted. It was just a stupid play call, and there's no two ways about that because they only needed like a yard or two for a first down on fourth. So, I mean, they decided to do it this way. It didn't work out, but that's okay. The thing I like was their fight. They come back.
Yep.
And they're not going to be intimidated. Nobody's putting a foot on their throat and saying, we're leaving you now. It's going to be 35-0. No, you're going to play us till the final whistle. So that's what I feel about this team right now. He has straightened out what was considered one of the biggest messes in football last year and straightened them out pretty good. And he's still got some garbage to get rid of.
Mike, do you think this team could be a threat in the postseason?
No, I think they might not even make it. And I'm a little bit worried, because I'm a Bear fan. And here, if they lose to Cleveland, they're finished. Let's just move on then. They got San Francisco. They got Detroit. They got Green Bay. Shedeur Sanders is a quarterback that when you're inexperienced, you don't want a zone defense because you see the one guy, but you don't see the other guy lurking. But last week, even though he made a bad turnover, he threw for over 350 yards man-to-man, which the Bears play most of the time. So I would lean the 7.5 points in Cleveland, but the Bears, if they don't deserve the playoffs if they can't beat Cleveland, it's going to be
two, Mike. Cleveland's number 2 in defense, and
I understand that. They better, if the Bears get behind of the Browns, it might be over because then Caleb Williams has to pass. Myles Garrett pins his ears back. I said it at the beginning of the season. To anybody who would listen, he was better than Micah Parsons, and he is. He's going to break maybe records this year. And if you're the Bears, you want to keep it simple like Ben Johnson does. Stick to the run. I think you can exploit Garrett that way. But if you have to pass the football, you are in absolute trouble against this defense.
Do you think Caleb Williams is limited?
Yes, right now he is. I think that there's still things he needs to learn. But the thing that there's no doubt, and I heard you guys beforehand, the one thing a coach can't do is teach accuracy.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, you either it or not.
You got it or you don't. And
right.
It looks to us from a distance, 2 years, like he doesn't have it as far as that goes. But then when he needs the clutch play, which is the other thing you need to be great, He's come through, and the receivers made some tremendous catches in that football game to keep them in the game. They just made a mistake at the end. They had a chance to win, but they can't beat Green Bay. For the most part, that's a simple fact. So we'll see what happens.
Isn't it funny, Mike, that two teams like the Eagles, like the Rams' kryptonite is Philly, and the Bears' kryptonite right now is the Packers, right?
Oh my God, it's not even. It's worse than kryptonite. We're in Dahmer's refrigerator, for Christ's sake. Our body parts are in the fucking. You kidding me? My God. I mean, we're so bad. We win every so often. I heard Jay Cutler brought up what a waste of talent. They kissed his ass in Chicago. The guy made $118 million. The Bears gave him 8 years, and he played in one playoff game. And
he was terrible.
Just an absolute atrocious leader. The face of the franchise, puss face, I used to call him. Okay. I used to call him puss face. So,
I'm sure he dug that when he showed up in the pit.
Oh my God, I read about the guy. He's got some wild things.
Hey man, he was without a doubt. He had great talent. He had a 2-cent brain though. Yeah. Hey, I got to ask you about what's going on in Michigan here with Sharon Moore. I mean, what do you make of this whole thing here?
Listen, here's the thing. Here, I got to be honest with everybody out there. I've been married to the same beautiful Italian woman for 47 years. She's been through it all. Somebody said, "You ever been on a roller coaster?" Because she goes daily. That's something, you know what I mean? So, my wife, but here's the deal. Here's the thing a married man doesn't want. One, if he's cheating, to be caught cheating. Okay?
Yes.
2, getting a girl pregnant.
Yeah, that would be 2.
3, getting a girl an abortion.
Yeah, that would be the 3rd.
4, holding her hostage at knife point.
Yeah, yes.
That's a lifetime. One. That's 5 men's lifetimes that are the biggest. I mean, really, this guy cornered the market, man. So it's just bad. And he got a job right. Like they just gave him the job. There was no bidding. And
under Harbaugh's, he was the guy that kind of waved it up and said, "This is the guy that should take over."
Oh yeah.
Because listen, Minter left. And Minter went with him because I think Minter's going to get that job.
Wow, somebody's going to get it. That's better than this guy. I mean, this poor guy. I mean, you know what? He had a quadruple. He had the holy trinity of offenses. I mean, my God, that's just brutal. I mean, he's in trouble, and they've held him into jail now for the 2nd straight day. But let me ask you a question, my friend. No matter where you come from, no matter what you do, the University of Notre Dame has to be in the playoffs. You know it as well as I do. Danny, you look like a Catholic boy from a nice Polish neighborhood. I know you're wearing the colors of the Hurricane. But let me tell you this. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish in the old days, yeah? It's a new day. We're the SEC. Let me just name. Can I tell you? Father McCroom here. Okay? Let me tell you a little story, my friend. I love everything that ESPN's done, and I do. I love everything they've done. I've watched thousands of hours of ESPN coverage, okay? I've enjoyed it over the years. I was there at the inception, okay? So I get it. If there's things I don't like, Dan, I shut it off, okay? And I come back later. Usually it's during the day, okay? Yeah, I just don't go for that kind of program. I mean, so what? I don't, and I was just watching a volleyball game on ESPN. So I just got to tell you though, I know bias when I see it. It's automatic. In 1977, folks, listen to the professor here. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish were 11-1, and Alabama was 11-1. But this was just a decade or two from Rockney, from Leahy, from Horning, from all the era Parsegian. So Notre Dame was deemed at number 1 and Bama number 2. But when you have a network called ESEC, that's what they really are. They're like pharmaceutical lobbyists in the congressional halls, trying to get congressmen to sign deals. You have a Feinbaum. They have their own lobbyists, the SEC. They've done a job of marketing unparalleled. How many leagues could get away with only playing 8 conference games? And I've been fighting this fight since 1992. 8 conference games when everybody else plays 9. How many leagues can get 2 bye weeks in one season? How many leagues can say, hey, you know what we're going to count as wins if we're Alabama? Louisiana Monroe, 73-0. But here's the kicker. Week 11, which should be a championship round if you're serious about playing playoff, you schedule Eastern Illinois. And you win 56-0. In week 11, you look at the schools in the Big Ten, they're playing Big Ten teams. The Big 12's playing Big 12 teams. So they figured it out, and nobody says nothing because they also got Saban, Herb Street. Folks, call your friends. You're not going to hear anything better than this all day. Okay? Feinbaum. I mean, just like the college, you know, the prison.
Booger McFarland played at
Booger
LSU.
McFarland. But here's the worst. It's 8,000 to 1 or something that the kid from Indiana is going to win the Heisman. Okay, Mendoza. I turn on the TV, and McElroy and Feinbaum are on, and they're asked about the Heisman. And you know what they both said? But McElroy's the one. You're such a stooge, buddy.
It's got to be Diego Pavia.
Oh, my. I couldn't believe what I heard. He goes, well, I'll tell you what. I think it's got to be Pavia, and I'll give you these reasons why. Because he was at New Mexico, and he made them a winner. But then he went to Vanderbilt, and he made them a winner. Wait a minute. Did you watch Indiana in the last 2 years? Their history is horrific. We can't wait for basketball season.
Yeah, terrible.
So don't tell me about elevating a program. Mendoza did that. His stats are equal to Pavia's, but because you're stooges for the SEC. And even Herb Street, he's a traitor. He's a treasonous. That guy there, you went to Ohio State. You're rubbing knees with Saban on the college stage. You want Kiffin to keep coaching a team he just stabbed in the back? It's a bunch of stooges in one pie. Because here's the thing that the Big Ten doesn't have. A show like this. They don't have somebody tooting their horn. You know, somebody said to me one time, you know, Mike, you don't need to toot your own horn. I go, did anybody toot Louis Armstrong's horn besides Louis Armstrong? The guy looked at me like my dog. I go, Harry James. Who tooted Harry James's horn?
Mike, here's the other thing to add in. Herb Street, Reese Davis, Nick Saban.
My God.
And Desmond Howard. They all have the same agent. They all have Jimmy Sexton.
It's just that they don't even tell you that. They go to work on the SEC. Herb Street
Kiffin's agent is Jimmy Sexton.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a joke. Look, I told you, I love the network. It's added to my career. The highlights alone. The times I came home when I was a drinker so hammered that I watched with one eye open. Okay, trying to focus. We've all done that. You sit in the chair and you're trying to watch, you know, back in the day, Kelly, you know, yeah, you got one eye open, trying, you know, like Captain Bligh. You know what I mean?
I got a patch on.
Yeah, like Raoul Walsh. Like the kid. How about the kid from Bazooka? A 9-year-old kid with a patch over his eye. How tragic, you know? Unbelievable. But no, seriously, Notre Dame. And my buddy used to see, but in 1977, Notre Dame was number 1. You got all these lobbyists now. I wouldn't be surprised if Pavia wins the damn thing. And then I turned on the TV last night on ESPN 2 at the SEC now at like 11 at night. So they're all over the place with the SEC. And if they had a show like ours, Big Ten show, but you would have exposure. The Big Ten network's a disgrace. The SEC is allowed to run roughshod with their propaganda all over everybody, and I've been fighting that since 92, Dan.
I'll tell you this about here's my take on Notre Dame. By the way, as a Cane, I love their crying. However, I do believe they should have been in, because here's my problem. Come on, James Madison and Tulane. Come on, dog. I mean,
Okay.
they're
Can I ask you? I agree with you.
They're 30 point. They're like 18 to 20 point underdogs.
But we were crying about 4 playoff teams. Can't you guys? And you're a little guy, Dan. I don't care. You're a big guy in stature. I'm going to change your mind. My mom said if I would have only had not flunked 7th grade, and if I had finished my high school, I could have been a great lawyer. I can persuade you about that, and I'll tell you why. Right. You're not that kind of guy. You're an underdog guy. Nobody gave you a shot. And you know what? What makes the NCAA tournament? It shouldn't be that many teams. It's for TV. We know that. There's maybe 12 teams that have a shot. But what makes it is the underdogs.
We were underdogs. Hurricanes were underdogs.
Yeah. So my deal is, before with Schnellenberger.
Yeah, nobody believed we were going to win the 83 title.
My point is this. You got to help those coaches recruit a little bit. And also in the era of nil, they can't keep up. You got to give them an edge, and that edge is the mid-majors have to joust between those final 2 spots, really.
Well, then why do they have different metrics for those two compared to the other ones? Why are you giving them a little bit more again? Because they're not looked at in the same metric as Notre Dame.
Right, they never will be. Neither are most of the teams. I mean, I had there was only I think somebody said Notre Dame would have been only an underdog to 1 team in the tournament.
They had the fourth best odds to win the national title.
Yeah, I mean, so that's, and it used to be an entertainment business where Notre Dame would be in automatically, but now it's more about power and money. So you have SEC bagmen all over the place in the media, on TV, on radio, on podcasts. You have schools, pressuring sports radio stations to get them a free ride. So it's more about, it's about how you market the conferences. And here, I'll give you another example. This is going to be funny, folks. And I didn't plan it this way, but I got to do it. This is why you tune in. Yeah, you especially. Anyway, the Alabama Crimson Tide lost 3 games this year.
Yes.
1 to Georgia, very powerful. 1 to Oklahoma, okay, good team. And 1 to Florida State, 5-7.
Now they did beat Georgia early in the year, though. They lost.
Okay.
They got killed in the SEC title game.
Okay, but then I would say back to you, what happened 2 weeks before the Georgia game? If that 2 months was so important, I want to go 2 months. And
they struggled against Auburn. They
lost to Florida State.
They did.
And I'm sorry, that was the worst loss, because here's who Michigan lost to, folks.
Yeah, but Mike, they're not going to not put the number 1 rated television show, college football wise, and not in the college playoff. You're not. And ESPN owns the college football playoff.
Right.
They're not going to put another team in there that's not Alabama.
Well, they had 3 losses. They had more than anybody, but here's the deal. Let me finish.
I'm surprised Texas didn't make it.
Michigan lost to Ohio State. Michigan lost to Oklahoma like Alabama. Okay. And Michigan lost to, USC.
Yep.
Who was 9-3. They had better losses than Alabama, and they didn't get another crack at Ohio State. And here's the deal. My deal is, we beat Georgia. Big deal. Your reward in the playoffs. Who's got a speech of a coach going, listen, boys, if we lose the conference championships, we're still going to the playoffs. Let's get them. I mean, who has that? Because, we're not going to play again. If we lose, it will take away from the conference championship. You know how many teams are in the final 12 that didn't win their conference championships? 7.
Yeah.
So it's all a big joke. They want Notre Dame to get in the conference. Notre Dame is they're in next year. They already know what they did wrong.
I know, because they got a new agreement that if they're in the top 12 in voting, they're in.
Oh, there's no doubt, because the committee's going nuts now. They're going, we're going to lose a ton of dough here. Because there's 2 types of fans for Notre Dame that nobody else has. You hate their guts or you love them. but all's going to watch. And to take them out of this, and I'm with you. Too bad you have to put the two small guys in, but you're a Goliath. You're a David guy. And you know what? I saw Villanova beat Georgetown. I've seen guys. You have to have a
But
chance.
Mike, there
to
were
do
64 teams there. There's only 12 of these. I mean, there's only
Yeah.
12 of these.
It don't even happen that much in basketball, Dan.
By the way, I think they should have had Miami and Notre Dame play in the playoff game.
I agree with you. It's too bad that they have it this way. It's probably going to go to 16, but you got to give the little guys a shot, and you need to help them recruit. That's all I'm saying. And you know what? That there's 10 teams, then they'll kick their ass.
Hey, get this. I think I got a date with you now.
Alabama scheduled Louisiana Monroe.
How far are you from South Bend?
I have no idea. I'm not Chris Columbus.
Well, let me tell you something. Because
about 160 miles.
Mario Cristobal is like begging me to go to the Notre Dame game next year. It's in South Bend. Okay.
What month?
It's November 7th.
Not bad, before Thanksgiving. I think, me and my wife went to a wedding there at the chapel, and then we went all over. It's an experience. We didn't go to a football game there. I've never been to one, but
Ringer. Let's see if we can make something happen here. I got one more question for you here.
I love when you ask me other questions. It makes me think a little bit.
All right, here's one for you. Kansas City, are they finished?
No. I think they have. I think what they've seen is they have an outside chance for the final wild card.
7%.
Okay. Can they win?
And they got Chargers this weekend.
Okay, so if they win the Chargers, you have Tennessee.
It goes way up.
You have Tennessee and the Raiders. Denver's a tough game for you, but you can win that. So I feel they think they took enough ridicule this past week. I think they're going to put up a heck of a game against this team in the -6. I think they are.
Mike, this was awesome, as always. By the way, the lid looks great.
Yeah, let me straighten it out here. Hold on.
No, I like that lid, man. I like that Chicago Bears lid. Bears have some of the best gear.
Dive.
No, actually, you look like Eminem. You're 70-year-old Eminem.
Hey, in my house.
in
my house. Yeah. You don't have to like me, but you got to love me in my house. And then they go, it's like a poem. I go, it is.
Hey, Mike, you're really awesome, man. I appreciate your love, man. Thank you so much. Tell your wife hello, too. We will catch you next week, Big Mike.
See you next week. I'll hear from you on the Text Network, my friend.
You got it, my friend. That is my friend, Mike North. Make sure you check him out, man. He's absolutely spectacular. I love having him on. Do me a favor. He looked like a 70-year-old Eminem, didn't he? Oh, my God. That guy's entertaining as hell, man. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. The legendary Philly Godfather. We're going to go through the NFL. What a big weekend in the National Football League this weekend. Plus Army-Navy. Odds to win the Heisman Trophy. Who wins that? Jalen Hurts versus the Raiders. What kind of prop bets are in this? All right, folks, do me a favor. Our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America, for a reason. It's because they win. Thousands of attorneys from coast to coast defending families like yours. Folks, you'll never have a better law firm fighting for you and your family if you're ever injured on the job. I told you this before. It was a crusade for Morgan & Morgan when John's brother got hurt at work. This wasn't started because John just wanted to start a company. John started this company because his brother was taken advantage of by another company. And that's how Morgan & Morgan started. It's a crusade. Do me a favor. Check out Morgan & Morgan at forthepeople.com/big sales or pound 529. It's FORthepeople/big sales or pound love 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sil sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Mm-hmm. Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sills National Football Show. Please hit the like button. We appreciate all you, man. Thank you again so much. Listen here, I want to tell you a little bit about the Raiders and the Raider organization a little bit. I was very proud to work for them. Tony Jefferson and Shannon Sharp are laughing when people talk about the Eagle offense formations and scheme on his show. I mean, Tony Jefferson and Shannon Sharp were laughing when talking about the Eagles' offense and formations. It's a high school offense. It's totally that's not an NFL offense. That's a junior college offense. It is. That's not high-level offense. And when you're opening it up and adding more components like Nick's adding passing components, he should be running. Hey, let me ask you this. Let me show you the difference between Ben Johnson and Nick Sirianni. Ben Johnson adds run components to the offense for the Bears because he knows the quarterback is limited as a passer right now in his development. Nick Sirianni, they're not developing any run type style of plays. Does anybody see any kind of different run kind of formations? Why don't you develop the run game more? That's what Ben Johnson did. Okay? One has a Super Bowl ring and one doesn't. What does that have to... Bro, your quarterback's a stiff. As a passer, he's a stiff. Nick is limited. Nick's limited because the guy, without a doubt, is a passing coordinator OC. He's not a run guy. Name me one place that Nick Sirianni has ever been where they ran the football and he was a guy that was creating run options. Like where? San Diego? I don't remember that. I mean, Ben Johnson, I watch him in the run game. I was watching him run the football and put those run plays and running them against the Eagle offense or Eagle defense, excuse me. And I'm like, wait a minute, those are fabulous play designs. I don't see any of that in Philly to try to get Barkley going. Hey, fuck getting Hurts going. You need to get Barkley going. Nick Sirianni is a playground slide, and Ben Johnson is El Toro at Six Flags. Yeah, I like that. Hey, Joe Burrow, dude, that was so unbecoming. Watching Joe Burrow moan about, like, not having fun. Guy makes $55 million a year, and he's fucking crying because he's not winning and he's not, I don't know. I mean, bro, you didn't have to sign that contract. You could have forced your ass out of Cincinnati if you didn't want to stay there. Well, the game's not fun. Dude, seriously, I had to turn it off. The guy was nauseating. He's fucking moaning about making $55 million and being a starting quarterback in the NFL. I lost a ton of respect for the guy. Hey, bro, go fucking win. Josh Allen is trying to change a culture in Buffalo. I mean, damn, dude. You're making $55 million. You're the second highest paid player in the National Football League, and you're bitching about not having fun. Come on, man. That's so unbecoming of a leader. I was like, man, this guy was a bitch when he was making those comments. It was bitchy. And I mean that with due respect to both genders. Just, I'm not having fun. But then, dude, go dye your hair. Do something. Get a dog. He's making $55 million and he's saying he's not having fun and he doesn't like what he's doing. Are you crazy? Nobody told you to sign that deal. He's defeated. Organization sucks. He knew that going in. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you're a high pick and get drafted to shitty teams. That's correct. You know what the problem is? He sees some of these other quarterbacks in better situations. Like Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts are in great situations. Why? They got organizations that are going to put great players around them. They got great GMs. He's in a place. Duke Tobin's a great GM. Unfortunately, the general manager doesn't have a budget. They dicked around Trey Hendrickson all year long. Do you really think that guy was hurt? No, he wasn't. So hey, that's just in. Okay? How about getting some defensive players? Maybe thinking about stopping somebody? Sills, if I was a practice squad guy making a check, I'd be happy as hell. I think they make $150,000. What's a NFL practice squad guy? By the way, guys today, you make 70 guys make a football team. When I played, 43 made. 47 made a football team. Today, 70 guys make a team, which I'm glad. How much does a practice squad guy make in the NFL? Practice squad dude, player make in the NFL. Here, for 2025, practice squad rookies and young players earn $14,000 a week, while veterans with 3 years or more make $17,500. And if that can go up per week and go as high as $25,000, you can make $25,000 a year if you have 2 or 3 more years of playing time. You can make $25,000 a week sitting on a practice squad. That's like $300,000. Like $315,000, $320,000. Just sitting on a practice squad. And if you live in Florida, that's great. Right? We respect our quarterback, and he's done for the franchise. I would agree with that. Nick developing a mediocre offense to fit the talent. Nick Sirianni hasn't developed that offense. You added Saquon Barkley. Get the fuck out of here. You really think you've developed Jalen Hurts since 2000? How about this, guys? K. Smith, do you agree with him? Do you think the Eagles have developed Jalen Hurts since Shane Steichen left? Yes or no? Do you think you've developed him since Shane Steichen left? Since in 2022, which was, in my opinion, the best he's ever looked. Do you think this organization has put great coaches around him to develop him? Hey, Seals, today is year 30 for me. Congratulations to you. Happy birthday, bro. Nick developed an offense to fit the talent. Nick developed the offense. Then how come he has no say in the play calling and who the play caller is? That's hired by the front office. This guy, how about this, K. Smith? Do you believe that Nick Sirianni has autonomy in how the direction of the offense goes? Nick doesn't call plays. If he doesn't call plays, that means he doesn't make the hires. How about this, K. Smith? Do you think that Nick Sirianni hired Vic Fangio? Do you? Do you think he hired Vic? How come Vic Fangio could take Timu guys and turn that defense into something that looks totally respectable? Think about that. Nick Sirianni took Howie Roseman. Hey, okay, my friend, I like that you're answering here. Let me ask you this. Do you think the offense is over or underachieved this year? How many people think the offense is over or underachieved? Over or underachieved? Has that offense over or underachieved? Now, do you think the defense has overachieved? Obviously under. I think the defense has overachieved. And it's the chiefest defense in football. They've overachieved. Made the rookies work when Bakuba was healthy. Deany brought back. Shit, Adoree Jackson looked like a player last week. They went and got Phillips. Ajomo's developing. Jordan Davis is better. Okay? I mean, that's over. They've overachieved. Why is that? Because they got great coaching over there. Clint Hurt, Bobby King, Clyde Christensen. In the secondary, Jalix Hunt's developing. They've overachieved with lesser talent, with no money. Who's the only two players making double-digit salary money on the offense, on the defense? Jordan Davis, not yet, because his fifth-year option's next year. So there's only one guy making double-digit money right now. You know who that is? It's Zach Bond. Everyone's either a Timu guy or they're on a rookie deal. Bond's the only guy. And look what you have on the offensive side. Both tackles, guard, center, quarterback, both wideouts, tight end. 8 of the 11 guys are double-digit salary dudes, as high as $50 million. And they're underachieving. How? Because you got shittier coaches? How about that? Barkley, too, it's 8. You're right. There's 9 dudes. on that offensive side of the football. 9 dudes. Seals, can we say Isaiah Rodgers started the season hot and has since regressed? Not sure if it's the system. How about this? I think it's got a lot to do with that shitty offense in Minnesota. Dude, you got J.J. McCarthy, one of the biggest disasters of all time. He'll go down as one of the biggest busts ever. I remember on draft day, both Xander and I were like this. Where in the world are you seeing that? Like, Minnesota almost, it looked like, got talked into drafting that guy. I never thought he was, I thought he was a 5th or 6th round pick when he was at Michigan. I never thought that guy was good in college. I don't know what Minnesota saw. You were like, 1st round. Where did you get that? Dude, Jackson Dart, I see it now. Him, I never saw it. And when you watch Jackson Dart actually play at Ole Miss, you were like, hey, I kind of see the Allen thing. I'm not saying he's Josh Allen, but you kind of see that. You're like, yeah, all right, I see that a little bit. Jules, in your opinion, if the Eagles don't get far and don't make the playoffs, what would be their main focus in the draft? I think they need to get some more. I still think you need another edge. And I think you need that, but you need a corner. You need a corner, and I would think you need an offensive tackle and some depth. Here, if I'm going to go priority, I'm going to go corner. By the way, Howie's telling you, look at all the moves they made for cornerbacks. What'd they make? 4 different trades to try to find a corner? And they haven't landed on one? Corner. I would say another edge. OT. So I'd probably put the OT ahead of the edge. Center. Safety. Running back. Quarterback. Wide receiver, you're going to lose Dotson. And a tight end. Now, that'll change if Goddard and Brown are gone. If Goddard and Brown are gone, top priority will probably be a wideout. Because you get him on a rookie deal. And that'll help offset the money for Carter. Okay? And if you lose Goddard, also get this. If you lose Goddard and you lose Brown, you're losing quite a bit of offense and presence. Remember, those guys bring a presence. A.J. Brown brings a presence when he's on the field. You put a rookie in that spot on the other side of Devontae, you lose the presence, and you lose that ability. I don't fear a rookie. I don't care who he is. I don't fear a rookie wideout. We don't know what we're going to do with Phillies, with Phillips either. Yes. You're right. You don't know what you're going to do there. So make no mistake about it. Absolutely. All right. Absolutely. I'm going to tell you this. This may be one of the best weeks in all of pro football. This is a great week. And make sure you do me a favor, my friends. Make sure you check out my guy here, man. This guy's like a movie star now. I know what he did. Okay, he lost all that weight because he got the honeys chasing him. I know he's married. He's got to fight him off now. And I know now he's been married a long time. He's no longer that guy. Okay, but he's lost weight. He's got to be in a movie and all that. Make sure you check it out here, too. It's been on a whirlwind tour with all this. And without further ado, we bring in our friend, the legendary Philly Godfather. He joins us right now. How you doing, bro? What is going on, Philly Godfather?
Big
Z. There we go. How you doing, bro?
Just losing this weight, man. Doing real well. It's my favorite time of the year. The Christmas tree's up. The gifts are under the tree. The lights are on. The Christmas music's, blaring. And I really, I appreciate every second because I've been through so much in my life, and I'm grateful for every moment I get to spend with my family, my friends. I'm grateful to be on the show with you today. And I remember when I was getting released from prison and I overturned my conviction and those reinforced doors opened up and everything kicked into slow motion. And I walked outside, and in the middle of the desert, there was a tree with white flower buds. And, it was like in slow motion. I grabbed that bud off that tree and I smelled, I took a deep inhale, and it was like a sweet scent. It wasn't overpowering. And I'll never forget that moment. And then the horn beeped, and it was my family, and I snapped out of it, and I jumped in the car. And ever since then, I try to cherish every single second in life, Dan.
What's it like to lose your freedom?
Oh, my God. It's the worst thing in the world. It sucks if you're single, but if you have a family and you have two young boys, your parents and, this Greek families are so close-knit. The holidays were the worst. Christmas, Thanksgiving, visits were bad because as soon as they would leave, it would hit you again. It's you got to really be mentally strong. And I see some of the biggest muscle guys in the world, and they go in there and they start crying like little girls. So not everyone's built for it, and you never know who's going to be strong in there and who's not. I was thankful, I'm strong mentally, but a lot of guys you think are big and tough when they get locked up. It's rough, man.
Hey, dude, I lose my family, I'm gonna wig out. I'm not, man. Yeah. I'm not above that, man. Having that taken away from me. I don't give a shit about other people like that, but my family, dude, by yourself on holidays and stuff, not having that. I grew up in a gigantic Italian family, and having that taken away from me, man, no way. I would never be the dude I was if I wasn't raised in the family I had. I'd never want to be raised any other way than I were my aunt. I wasn't raised with parents. I was raised with, actually, I'll take that back. I didn't have the traditional parents, but I was raised by grandparents and my aunt. And I'll tell you what, flat out, they're the greatest parents I've ever had, and I wouldn't want it any other way. It's not a crying story. It's I think it's a success story. So I hear you, man. So how's the tour going?
Doing great, man. I thank God every day. I'm not real religious. I don't go to church. But, God's great, and he's blessed us, blessed my family, blessed me with the book. I never expected to have this much success. And we're working on some big things. So I'll let you guys know as soon as it's in, science.
All right, man. Do you not agree this week is going to be some of the best football? Don't you agree? That we've had for of all the weeks in the NFL, this week 15 looks like it's insane, right?
Yeah, every game, not every game matters, but a lot of these games are really important. You got some real big point spreads. This week's a little tougher to handicap than others because of the large point spreads. I think there's 6 or 7 games with point spreads 6 points and higher. So there's a lot there's a lot on the line this week for a lot of teams.
All right, let's go through the games, and I'll save the Eagle game for the end. And we're going to start off with one of those games. Boy, and one of the reasons why I was told, when I had you on, I had a guy watching this from Sports Grid, and he said, talk to the Philly Godfather because you can really get a sense of where you are when you have to go with these gigantic point spreads, like you have 9.5 here with this Cardinals and Texans game. Texans right now are sitting at 8-5. They're obviously fighting for a playoff spot. If the playoffs were to start right now, they're actually in it. And they've got a Cardinal team that's been kind of pesky. And I got to tell you, after watching the Falcons last night and what they did with the Bucs, they had nothing to play for either. When you see a 9.5 point spread, do you look at the over-under at 42.5, or do you look at both numbers? How do you look at a game like that when you go into Week 15?
You try to look at everything. You try to take in the qualitative and quantitative factors surrounding the football game. You look at recent play. I know the Cardinals were blown out 45-17 against the Rams last week, but laying 10 points, it still feels like a ton for a Houston team who offensively, I think they ranked 26th in yards per play and 20th in points per game. I think they're averaging 21 points per game. So it's hard to cover a big number like that when your offense, isn't clicking on all cylinders. And as bad as the Cardinals season has been, I think they're 3-10 this year. They've still managed to put points up on the board. I think they're averaging like 20 points per game when they faced the top 10 defenses this season. So even though the record ain't that great, they've been able to move the football. But honestly, I just can't pull the trigger here on Arizona. They're simply too banged up heading into this game. They got one of the lowest offensive health scores of any team in the NFL this weekend. So that should stymie, some of that offense. The Cardinals' offensive line has given up, I think, like the 6th or 5th most sacks on the year. And they're going up against the Texans pass rush that ranks, I think, 5th in sacks per game. And if they weren't banged up early in the season, they'd probably be number 2 behind the Broncos. So I think the best way to bet this game, because I do like Houston, but it is a large number, put Houston in a teaser, tease them down to like -2.5 below that key number of 3, and then go under 49.5 on the total because the Texans defense is so good and Arizona's offense is really banged up. I think that's the best way to bet the game. And I told you guys before the Chiefs game, if you want to nibble on the Texans at 28-1 to win the Super Bowl, it had some value. And now that price is all the way down to 13-1.
Wow.
And they got the best odds in the NFL to win the Super Bowl. I mean, their defense is legit. They're menacing. They're battle-tested. They've been in the playoffs 2 years in a row. This Houston team, if they get in, man, they're going to cause a lot of headaches, Dan.
So they went from 25 to 13.
28-1 to 13-1.
28-1 to 13-1. Wow. All right, let's go over to this one. This is kind of a wild game here because the Ravens are on a respirator right now, but there's Joe Burrow. It's 2.5 the Bengals are getting. So when you see that, obviously, Burrow's in the ball game here because the Bengals without him are terrible. It's at home. It's in Cincinnati. Do the Ravens go into Cincinnati and win, or do you take the 2.5 and take the Bengals here?
It's tough betting against Joe Burrow. Line's anywhere from 2.5 to 3. And anytime he's been an underdog or 3 or more points, I don't know. He's got a crazy record, like 17-3 against the spread. He's that good. The only problem is the Ravens have the overall health score. It's much better than the Bengals this week. I think it grades like 8 points higher. And the Bengals pass defense is the most banged up of any NFL team this Sunday. So they're still really hurt. It also feels kind of like a trap game here. Vegas is giving you 3 points on the Bengals at home. They just went into Baltimore and smashed them 32-14 on the road just a few weeks ago. So now, it feels a little bit like a trap. I haven't bet the side yet, but they're expecting some really bad weather. Last I checked, the temperatures are going to be freezing cold, low teens, maybe single digits by kickoff. The wind chill is going to make it feel like it's below 0. They say this could be the most, cold game in Cincinnati history this week. The wind gusts 17 to 22 miles per hour. So that hurts, Bengals pass heavy offense more than the Ravens, who have the 2 best running backs in the league, and Derrick Henry and, yes, Lamar Jackson. The Ravens, they're supposed to win this game. The weather favors them. It helps them. It's just hard betting against Joe Burrow. It is a revenge spot for Baltimore. And then if you watch that press conference with Joe this week, he looks like he was kind of fed up with how the season's going. But like I said, I haven't bet the game yet. But with the bad weather conditions expected, total's kind of high, 51.5. I think the under, that's the right way to go. It kind of intrigues me a little bit. I'm going to wait till game time to see how high these winds get. And if they get really high and really gusty, man, the under's definitely the move here.
Man, I can't wait to see that game as well. It's going to be an interesting ball game. How about this puppy here? Bills go to the Foxborough and they play the Patriots, who are sitting at 11-2. Bills are fighting for their playoff lives right now because, again, they're not going to win that division for the first time in years. They're not going to win the AFC East. It's 1.5. So can you believe that? I mean, the Patriots are getting 1.5. So they're the underdog in this ball game. Am I right? At home, 49.5. Wow. I see this game.
They're coming off the bye too, ain't they?
They're coming off a bye, and they're underdogs at home.
I like the Bills here on the money line. I laid 1. And if you want to bet them on the alternate line, if you have any cojones, you can lay 6.5 plus 190. I bet that too. I think the Bills win by a touchdown. This Patriots team has been one of the luckiest all year. I think they rank like 3rd in luck ratio.
You're not buying them, huh?
I mean, they're good, but they're not as good as the record indicates. It just, they've been really extremely lucky, man. They've had an average health score of like +7 against every team they faced this year, except for week 1 against the Raiders where they lost, and then 2 weeks ago against the Giants who imploded. And Giants stink. This week, both teams, their health score is right around 80, so it's an even keel. Revenge, it's definitely here for the Bills. It's definitely on their minds after losing to New England. I think that was week 5. I think they lost, 23-20, but, they turned the ball over 3 times. They had more first downs, more total yards. The Bills are the better team. The ball has just bounced New England's way. And God bless them. They got a great coach. And they've been lucky, but luck favors the prepared mind. And they got a great young quarterback in Drake May. And they got a hell of a future ahead of them. I mean, with the coach and the quarterback, kind of reminds me a little bit of Belichick and Brady early. So moving forward, they're going to be really, really good. But I like the Bills here, man. I think they win the game. I think they win by a touchdown.
This is going to be an interesting one because, and I'm going here with you because it's a ton of points. The Browns have the second best defense in pro football, and they're on a historic. How about this? They're giving up less points and less yards than what the Eagle number 1 ranked defense did a year ago. Texans are number 1. The Browns are number 2. It's 38.5, and that's why I probably think that number's low because of the Browns offense here. Shador didn't look all that bad, and it's 7.5.
Yeah.
And it's at Soldier Field. You think the Browns and the points here against the Bears?
It feels that way, right? I mean, another game, it's going to be ice cold there. Game temperatures anywhere from 10 to 11 degrees. With the wind chill, they're talking like -5. Really windy, gusts up to 25 miles an hour. Probably one of the coldest games at Soldier Field in years. Line opened up 7. It's moved up to 7.5 everywhere. Total, like you said, is 38.5, 39, depending on which sportsbook you use. And right now, the entire planet's bet Chicago. I think like 80% of the action is on the Bears here. But the bettors got the sports bettors out there got to be really careful because dogs, they're always live in bad weather games, especially underdogs with the great defense like the Browns have this year. Like you said, I think the Browns ranked 3rd in opponent yards for playing 2nd in sacks per game this season. So it's a tricky game if you're looking to bet the Bears. I've been bullish on the Bears all year. I went over 8.5 wins for the season win total before the season started. So we already cashed that ticket. I got a small ticket on them at 42-1 to win the Super Bowl. I knew they were getting the playoffs, so then you can hedge and maybe bet the other team and make some free money. But the more in this game, the more the wins pick up, the harder it's going to be for the Bears to cover the Vegas number. So pay attention to the wins in this game. At the end of the day, I think the game comes down to the Bears' 5th-ranked rushing offense against arguably the best run defense in football. So in a cold game, I think, I don't expect Caleb Williams to have much success through the air against a Browns defense that I think they're ranked like 5th or 6th in opponent yards per pass attempts. So I think the Browns are the right side here.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think the Browns, if you look at everything, I think the Browns are the right side.
I do too. I would take the 7.5 in the Browns.
Yeah, you might want to wait though. You might, because I saw some 8s popping up, and the way the market's moving, if it goes to 9, you'll get a much better number. So you might be able to get Browns +9 by game time.
Now, if you were going to suggest that to somebody, would you say closer to game time?
Yeah.
Closer to game time. Okay, let's go to this one here. Well, this looks like to me it's do or die now. And Chargers are at 9-4, coming off a huge win against the Eagles. And there's the Chiefs sitting at 6-7. How about this number here? Since the Super Bowl, they're 6-8 as they enter this game. It is at Arrowhead. And am I right when I say that the Chiefs are 5.5-point favorites in this ball game against the Chargers, who are sitting at 9-4? The points are 41 right now. You keep telling me this, and I guarantee you, if I ask you this question, they're still in the top 5 for the team that can end up winning the Super Bowl. Am I right? Are they still around there? Are they have they fallen?
They're right around there, 6, 5, depending on which sportsbook you use, 7th best odds. But the spread kind of baffles me a little bit, like it did last week against the Texans. I mean, I know it's do or die for the Chiefs here, and if they lose the game, I think they're basically eliminated from the playoffs, maybe like a 1% chance. I'm not sure what the numbers are. And if they win the game, I think they got less than a 20% chance of still getting into the playoffs. So, it's do or die for them. But, I mean, they're in 3rd place in the AFC West. They're, 6-7, sitting below 500. And they're laying 5.5 against a team that just beat the Eagles. Now, you can say they were a little lucky, but, Herbert, his hand was banged up. And that pass defense is one of the better pass defenses in the NFL.
I'm going KC here.
Yeah, Vegas doesn't give out free money. I mean, it's like they're trying to reel you in with Kansas City here.
Yeah.
LA is a slightly healthier team. But every time the Chiefs stepped up, man, and they played a good defense like the Chargers, when they played the Jags, the Broncos and the Texans, they lost. And they lost to the Chargers earlier in the season. So they've had some issues playing against the better defenses. Man, maybe the Zebras come into play. Maybe they got something up their sleeves this week, and the league's sent out some orders. That number is kind of fishy at 5.5. Man, I wouldn't lay the 5.5. If you do like Kansas City, put them in a teaser. Grab plus 1.5 points at home.
So you'd lean more towards the Chargers in this.
It's right there. There's the numbers fishy. The league's always been fishy with Kansas City. You can call me a conspiracy theorist if you want, but if you looked at all those games for the past couple of years and you saw how the penalties were called, they were just so top heavy on their opponents. I mean, you couldn't touch no one without getting called for a penalty. So if you want to put the Chiefs in a teaser, grab them plus 1.5. If you want to bet the over 41.5, because the Chiefs offense can still move the ball. I think they're ranked like 9th in yards per play and 10th in points per game. And I think Herbert has a better game than he did last week. He's got another week to heal for his hand. Chiefs pass defense isn't any good. I think they're ranked in the basement of the NFL and putting yards per pass attempt. And Kansas City hasn't had much of a pass rush all year. They're ranked 25th, I think, in sacks per game. So I think they go over 41.5. That's a better bet. But if you want to tease Kansas City and you want to get some money on Kansas City, put them in teaser just in case, man.
I'm going to spare you on that horrible Commanders-Giants game. But I will ask you this here. The Jaguars, they're getting 13.5 in Jacksonville, and the Jets have to go down to Jacksonville. They've won a couple games over the last month. Boy, 13.5 is an awful lot. Plus the 41.5. You're not expecting a lot of points being scored because of the defensive guys that are in this ball game here. Why do I sit here and do this? I might take the 13.5 in the Jets.
It's a lot of points, man. A lot of points. It opened 10.5. It moved 3 points off that open. It's up to 13.5, like you said. The total hasn't really moved much. It's at 41.5. Ton of the early action, all the public money. People call it the square money, whatever you want to call it. It's all over Jacksonville, 80% of the action. So if you're looking to lay the 13.5, that might scare you a little bit because the public doesn't win. To be honest. 2 touchdowns in the NFL, it's a ton of points. Even if it's against a Jets team that's only won 3 games. Yeah, I mean, and they just got blown out against Miami, 34-10 or something. I forget.
Yeah.
It's just hard betting the Jets, man. They're limping into Jacksonville. Jacksonville's a much healthier team. The Jets have the worst turnover differential in the NFL.
You still think the Jags beat them by 2 TDs?
There's so much variance because the Jets turn the ball over so much.
And they're at home.
Yeah, and the Jets, their defense, they have 2 takeaways on the year and no interceptions. So you got to pull some turnovers to stay within that Vegas number. It's tough. Jacksonville's won 4 straight, 5 of their last 6.
Yeah, they're 9-4 now.
They're peaking in the market. You're probably paying an inflated, price to lay 13.5. I got the game at -9, so it's 4 points higher than I think the game should be. The only thing I did in this game, I went over 41.5. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has looked great over recent play. He's got like 9 touchdowns over his last 4 games, and the Jags, I think, have scored the 4th most points in the NFL over recent play. So I like the over 41.5. Gun to my head, with the public all over Jacksonville. If you can grab 14, but it just scares me, man. The Jets.
You'd wait till 14, right?
Yeah. If you want to bet the over Jags team total, you can go over 26.5. I think they're going to score probably 30 points in this game.
This is a big game, and I'll tell you why. I know it's the Saints. The Saints just come off of beating the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers are in a total free fall right now. And this Panther team, I want to know who they are. One week they show up and they're like, they beat Dallas, they beat Green Bay, and they beat the Rams. And you're like, wow. And then you turn around and you see some of the stiff games that they've lost to. It's 2.5. That's what frightens me here with the Panthers. You're sitting there on a 3-win football team, and the Saints are only at home at the Superdome, which they are almost unbeatable there when they're at the Superdome. And I don't know who this Panther team is. Doesn't that points when you see 2.5 and you see a 7-6 team? They're in first place right now, by the way, in the NFC South. How do you see this thing?
I think the Saints beat them last time, 17-7.
Yeah, Saints beat them.
Yeah, and they beat them in Carolina. I think they were 5-point underdogs.
Yep.
And now they're laying 2.5 in New Orleans. I expected some good things out of the Panthers. I went over 6.5 on their season win total before the season started, but I never thought they'd have a shot at winning the division. But like you said, they're in first place. They control their own destiny. All they got to do is beat the Saints. I think they got to split with the Buccaneers, and they win the NFC.
With the Bucks. Split with the Bucks.
And just win this week. Buccaneers really opened the door last night for them to make the playoffs with that. They choked that game away. Health score, Panthers have a big advantage in the health score this week. Man.
Coming off a bye too, right?
It just feels like everything. It feels like everything. The moons are aligning for this Panthers team to sneak in the playoffs. I guess I like Carolina at anything under a field goal. They also have the revenge factor. They lost to the Saints early in the year, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Saints covered the number. The game's really, in my opinion, I think it's a coin flip. Turnover differential. I mean, the Panthers have been slightly better in ball security, and that's always big in a game with a short point spread. A team that makes the mistake. In games like this, it's the teams that lose the game. It's not really teams that win the game. You know what I mean? Teams lose games more than teams win them. I like the Panthers a little bit, -2.5.
Now we get into some really big games here. Lions at 8-5. They go to SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, and they're 10-3. I got to think this is the Lions, man. They've got to win here. They can't fall to 8-6 because I don't know how many wins it's going to take to get into the NFC Championship. And the Rams, right now, they're favored by 6, if I'm not mistaken, heading into this game. And they're giving 6 to the Lions here. It's 54.5. So I guess they're expecting some points to be thrown up in this ball game. Who do you like in this bad puppy? This is a really good-looking football game.
Yeah, it's got to be so tough betting against the Rams at home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Lions are still dealing with a bunch of injuries. LA has, I think, like a +15 health score advantage on pass defense. So that kind of scares you if you're looking to take the points here. The Lions, however, I think they're coming off extra rest, right? What did they play Thursday night against the Cowboys? Is that what?
Yeah.
So they had some extra rest. This game's really important to both teams. I mean, the Rams are fighting for the best record in the NFC, the best record in the West, but it's even bigger for Detroit. I mean, they're fighting for their playoff lives. Detroit's offense still ranked number 1 in yards per play, which is huge if you're looking to take 6 points against a team like the Rams in a spot like this. The entire season, I think, is on the line here for the Lions. I guess I like Detroit plus the 6. I haven't bet it yet, but if Detroit covers the spread, they're probably going to win the game outright. So you know what? Take them +6 and take them +220 on the money line, man. They got a shot at winning this game. It's more important to them. It's big for both teams, but this is do or die for Detroit.
Oh, it absolutely is. Here's another one, Mile High. Packers go with their 9-3-1 record up to Mile High. And I think the Broncos have won 10 straight ball games. The legendary Bo Nix. I can't believe it. 11-2, they're going to win the AFC West. They may just end up being the number 1 seed overall. They're battling it out right now with New England. How do you see this game?
I mean, you got 2 great defenses, right? Broncos ranked 1st.
Great defenses.
Yeah, and the Packers are like 5th in opponent yards per play. I think both teams' pass defenses, I think they're tied 3rd in opponent yards per pass attempt. But offensively, the Packers have been more efficient. They have the much better metrics. And honestly, I can't remember when the last time an 11-2 team was playing at home against a 9-3 team, and they were getting 2.5 points as an underdog. So this is another game that feels kind of like a trap here. I like the Packers, man. I laid 1. I think anything under a field goal, I think they're the right side. I think they're the better team on both sides of the football. It's hard going into Denver and winning. They got such a huge home field advantage, but I think the Packers are the right side, man.
All right, man. The legendary 44-year-old Phillip Rivers goes up to Seattle. And I'm assuming he's going to start in this ball game. And Seattle's got one of the best defenses in pro football. They are 10-3. How about this with Sam Darnold? Sam Darnold was 14-3 last year. He's 10-3 right now. This guy's 24-6 in the last. He's 24-6 in the last 30 ball games. This guy's won 24-30 games, regular season wise, heading into this game. You take Seattle against the legendary and the legend of Phillip Rivers and the Colts.
I don't know. I asked like 30 people who they're betting this week on this game, and none of them said the Colts. I mean, it's tough bet on the Colts here.
13.5, by the way, the point spread is.
Yeah, it's probably going to close even higher than that, 14, 14.5, maybe even 15. I mean, the Seahawks, I think they got the second best odds to win the Super Bowl now, right behind the Rams. So you can't really blame anyone if they're going to lay the points with Seattle. No Danny Jones, on offense. On defense, I think the Colts, they lost Sauce Gardner and what's the other guy's name? Ward.
Yep.
So their corners are gone. Seattle's a healthier team, much healthier. Pass defense. Seahawks are at home. It's never easy going in there to win. And now you're going in there all banged up. Phillip Rivers, I don't know. I think Darnold will throw for 400 yards here. This game could get ugly. It's crazy because what did the Colts start? 8-1 on the season?
Yeah.
And now they're minus 450 to not make the playoffs. I don't remember that ever happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of points, but
one time they were the number one seed in the AFC.
Yeah. And if you look at the schedule down the stretch, it doesn't get any easier. I mean, Jacksonville, Houston, and the 49ers, so they're not going to make the playoffs. The Colts are done.
All right. Yeah. How about this one here? Cowboys. I'm going to give you a little scenario. We're going to get to the Eagles and the Raiders here in a minute. So if the Cowboys win this game, they go to 7-6-1. If by some crazy thing the Raiders were to win that game, do you know after that on Sunday night, the Eagles will only have a half-game lead in the NFC East because they'd be 7-6-1 and the Eagles would be 8-6 if that happens. Do the Cowboys take care of business against the Minnesota Vikings in Arlington?
If the Raiders beat the Eagles, it's going to be like World War Z in Philly. That's go ballistic. You better go on vacation early and leave the city. You better park. It's going to get wild down there. But this matchup, there's a lot of variance because these two teams, I think they rank like 29th and 30th in turnover differential. So there's a ton of variance when you're trying to handicap this game because as I've mentioned before, turnovers, they really dictate who wins the game and covers the spread. But, the Cowboys at home, they play much better than they do on the road. I think they're 4-1-1 at home this year. I mean, they beat the Eagles, the Chiefs. I think they beat the Commanders and the Giants, and they tied against the Packers. I think that game was 40. So if you bet Dallas at home this year, you've made a lot of money. I mean, if you look at the Vikings, so a recent play, they've lost the last 3 of the last 4 games on the road, and they've gotten blown out by an average of 23 or 24 points per game. So they haven't really played well recently. The good news for the Vikings is I think this is the healthiest the Vikings have been probably all season. So they finally got all their weapons on the football field. Man, big spread, 6.5, probably closes 7. It's probably the biggest point spread the Cowboys have had this season as favorites. Feels like a lot of points. If it gets to 7, I'll probably be on Minnesota because their defense is still pretty good. Top 10 defense and a bunch of metrics. But if you do like the Cowboys, you're probably better off just teasing them down to a pick 'em with either Houston or the Broncos plus 9.5. It's probably the sharper way to bet it. But it's a lot of points, man. 6, 6.5, 7. It's a lot of points, man.
All right. This game's interesting here because if the Dolphins win, who would have thunk this? They're 7-7. And they would have fought back, got the Steelers in Pittsburgh. You like it 3 points right now the Dolphins are getting, and it's 41.5. There's going to be no TJ Watt in this ball game.
That hurts.
You like the Dolphins in this one?
Man, it's tempting. You're getting 3 points. They played really well. They won 4 in a row.
Beat the Bills too.
Yeah, they beat some good teams. But this is going to be another real cold game. And do you really want to bet the Dolphins here? In Pittsburgh at this time of the year.
No. You just sold me. Forget it. Dolphins in the cold? No way.
That's what I mean.
Always remember this, too. If Miami Hurricanes are playing in a cold weather place in a bowl game, always bet against the Canes. It's never cold weather.
I mean, Rodgers is better than Tua. Pittsburgh's offensive line has allowed fewer sacks in the season, even though Watt's not playing. That hurts him a little bit. But Miami's pass defense, they stink. I think they're ranked 25th or 26th in opponent yards per pass attempt. And like I said, they played some good football recently, winning 4 straight. But I'm not betting against the Steelers at home at this time of the year in that cold weather, man. So I'm just not doing it.
All right, here it is. Eagles, Raiders. Who do you got?
Like I said, if they lose, oh my God. Line's what, 12? It depends where you shop, 11.5 or 12.5. Total, it's down to 38.5. Man, everyone's betting the Eagles. That scares me. Anytime the public's 90% of the action right now is on Philadelphia laying a big number, and they haven't won a game. I can't remember the last game.
Oh, three in a row.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of like a bounce back game for Jalen Hurts. I mean, this Raiders defense, they rank 21st in opponent yards per pass attempt. Their defensive line hasn't been able to put pressure on opposing quarterbacks all year. I think they're ranked like 25th in sacks per game. I think Hurts is going to have enough time to go through his reads and, without heavy pressure and make the right decisions this weekend. I don't expect him to have as many turnovers as he did against, the Chargers last week. That Chargers pass defense is one of the best in the NFL. The Eagles are much healthier. They got a plus 13 health advantage score. I think the Eagles put up a ton of points here. Pay attention to the win as always. Anything over 15 miles an hour, it's tough passing the ball in the NFL. Raiders have the worst offensive line in football. I think they've given up the most sacks in the entire league this season. So it's a bounce back game for Philly. It's a good buy low spot. They've lost 3 in a row. They should blow this team out, man. The Raiders have the third worst road record in the NFL this year, and they've lost 5 straight away from Allegiant Stadium by an average of like 22 points a game or something, 20 points a game. So I think they get blown out. I think the Eagles blow this team out there.
Me too, man. I do. I mean, I still got it 1 score because I'm still not sold on that offense yet, but we'll see what happens here. All right, Army-Navy. What do you got here, Army-Navy, man? We got to go here with this. It's one of my favorite college football games.
Yeah, that quarterback for Navy is so good. He's playing in his last game, right?
The Eagles might want to draft him.
Right, do it. We got Tanner McKee back there. Don't worry about nothing. But yeah, Navy has a much better offense. They got the better defense. The defensive line is better. They get after the quarterback much more effectively. Both teams have solid offensive lines. I think they're ranked 1st and 3rd in sacks allowed, so they protect their quarterbacks.
They put up 500 yards, Navy did, on that USF team, too.
Yeah, but these games are always kind of funny, man. And
funny.
They tend to stay towards the under. I think they're like 47-13 towards the under since 2005. So that's something to pay attention to. But Navy smoked them last year. They got the much better quarterback. He's a big reason why he had a monster game. I think Navy might be a little too much for him this year. At 6, anything under a touchdown, Navy probably covers the spread. I haven't bet it yet. But these games are funny, man. And the underdog has done well, So,
All right, finally. Who wins the Heisman? Pavia or Mendoza?
Heisman-Doza time.
Heisman-Doza. He wins it.
Heisman-Doza time. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Oh, it's the greatest turnaround in college football history.
I mean, they beat Ohio State. They went in there,
and
they were losing that game. And he showed his resiliency. He stayed calm.
Don't underestimate the power of the SEC media.
Yeah. So it's Mendoza, man. I mean, it's Mendoza for me, at least. I mean,
I got you. I'm with you, man. All right, tell the folks how they can find you, my good friend.
You can find me on X at Philly Godfather. The website, thephillygodfather.com. And if you want to pick up my book, #1 on Amazon, new releases, Organized Crime, even though I'm not a criminal. You can go to phillybook.com. I'll send you out an autographed copy. It takes about 3 to 7 business days. If you can't wait, go to Amazon, ship to order, and you'll have it the next day.
There you go. Brother, we'll see you next week. Thank you so much, man.
Good luck, guys. God bless.
You got it. That is the Philly Godfather. We appreciate that. You bet. And hey, what was my score here? I got 26. I got 26-19. 26-19. And I will see many of you on the pregame show on Sunday. So we appreciate that. Guys, great week. We appreciate all the content. Please hit the like button. Have yourselves a great week. Some of you can't catch me on the pregame on Sunday. Don't forget Monday, 2 to 6, each and every single Monday through Friday. Big Joe, Xander, thank you. And we'll see you on the flip side.